What is good, chat? Welcome to another show, guys. This is crazy because I gotta get my fire started. This is crazy because we got another show to cover. All right, listen. The Andrew Tate defense force is in full effect, and denial is the ally. Okay, I can't tell you how much bullshit I've been hearing out of the entire manosphere, and even people who are, I would say, sort of grifting into the manosphere now. I can't believe the kind of opinions these people are having, especially consider themselves conservatives, all right? That like conservative values and all this other bullshit, like they like to tout like they're better than most people on other political aisles, right? And to just sit there and watch these guys just simp for this Andrew Tate guy, it's not even funny. It's like, the one thing is they don't want to overlook facts and evidence when it comes down to, certain things with women, all right? Matter of fact, they would be the best statisticians out there, and when it comes to evidence that kind of disproves their explanations, right? And they'd want to see the evidence, they want to see all the facts surrounding it before they try to brand it as true, right? But when it comes to people they care about, it doesn't, no. I don't believe your evidence. I need more, right? It's crazy the mindset a lot of these guys are having, all right? And those guys who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about what we kind of all expected, we knew was going to happen, especially after finding out that Andrew Tate was going to get charged, right? That a lot of these people are going to be coming out here and they're going to be just pretending, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil type bullshit, right? Yet these are the same ones that have come up to you guys on YouTube and lecture morality to you. It's insane. They want to lecture morality to you, and yet they're promoting a guy who most definitely is going to be found guilty of trafficking. And not only is he going to get found guilty of trafficking in Romania, okay, he's going to get found guilty possibly of trafficking in the UK. All right, this guy is literally known for self-snitching on multiple podcast platforms that are out there. And here are the most rational people who are supposed to be telling men how to be men, all right? These red pill leaders coming out here and telling you that there's no evidence to charge this man, and he's completely and utterly innocent of all charges. And you know what? You need to provide the evidence. You need to provide the evidence that he's guilty, all right? Because we live in the West. We live in a country of law and order, all right? Innocent until proven guilty, until you realize Romania, it's a different breed. They're different people, different legal systems and customs, all right? They don't have to abide by your Western ideals, all right? Which is funny because y'all criticize Western ideals, all right, and Western judicial systems and all this stuff like that, and then you experience what reality is in other countries and how they don't play so nice. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, why can't y'all be like the West? Huh? There's no innocent until proven guilty. They're making us all guilty. Why can't y'all be like the West? You can't imprison me with no charge. That's insane. Welcome to Romania. Hey, buddy, ain't that the first reason why you moved there in the first place? Like, what are we talking about? But I digress. I'm gonna stop monologuing for a bit because we got a lot to cover. All right. Frankly, listen, I'm not the only one who's actually sick and tired of these Tate defense stands. Okay, Destiny actually is also sick and tired of these Tate defense idiots out there, bro. It's insane. All right. And his video we're gonna react to, as well as others people's video that I honestly, I was shocked, ladies and gentlemen. All right, chat, get the likes up right now. I was shocked, all right, because none so other than Candace Owens, like the biggest disappointment that ever plagued the right wing, would come out and actually be in support of Andrew Tate. And it's just like, wait a minute. I smell desperation for an interview before this guy gets locked up for a bit. And realistically, that's what a lot of these content creators are doing now, okay? They're trying to get their piece of the Andrew Tate interview pie, all right, before this nigga get locked up for good, all right? So everyone right now are just they're just foaming at the mouth with these cringe explanations on how Andrew Tate is somehow innocent of all charges. And then they're making it seem like this is a big conspiracy with the mainstream media that are out there that are trying to seed propaganda because Andrew Tate is somehow some kind of political prisoner. Candace Owens. Candace Owens, like, bruh, hearing this from you, it makes sense why people call you the biggest grifter out there. I mean, did y'all see her origin story? I mean, really pay attention to her origin story. She used to be a liberal, all right, or one of these lefties, all right, and then she created a website to basically dox people, all right, and the website she created to dox people was for bullying. So if you get cyberbullied, this website basically doxes you for cyberbullying, right? And then she got pissed that a lot of people on the left came out and said, yo, that's a horrible thing to do, to just create a website to dox people. It doesn't matter if they're bullies or not. You don't need to be doxing people online. And then she says, oh my God, I was so hurt by this that then I went to the right and realized that the right wings were all right because they accepted me with my flaws and all. That's literally Candace Owens' origin story. And then the right wing, being as dumb as they all are, all right, and sitting here, I'm not saying like all of them, I'm talking about like, you know, the fanatic ones, okay? Don't get it twisted, all right? Because I don't belong to any party. I think politics is just a big distraction sham, so I don't care. All right, if you're on the left or the right, I don't give a fuck. Okay, I just tell it as it is. And a bunch of these right wingers just looking at this story that is obviously bullshit, and they're like, "Oh, Candace Owens, welcome to the fold." And now, only now that people are starting to see that this woman might be a grifter, especially with this Andrew Tate defense of hers that was completely cringe. People are starting to wake up to the fact that, hey, you know what? This Candace Owens girl, she may just be an opportunist. Like, could the possibility just reside that this Candace Owens chick might be a opportunist? Because realistically, we're right wingers and our values don't actually align with Andrew Tate. Like, we don't believe you should be on OnlyFans, let alone being a pimp of webcam girls. So Candace Owens, why are you defending Andrew Tate? And now y'all are realizing the grifting that she's been doing. All right, now y'all are seeing that she's trying to snag herself that last minute Andrew Tate interview because she saw it did 7 million views in one day on Patrick Bet-David's show. So now she's clawing to get her fingers in the pot before this nigga gets sent off to jail. This is insane, and that's why we have to cover this, because this Tate defense force that is forming to make y'all believe they actually love Andrew Tate, it's not about that. They're trying to grift because they smell. They're like vultures, okay? They smell dying meat. That's just what it is, all right? So let's go ahead and get the Destiny's reaction, because I just found it just hilarious. And then we're gonna get right into the story, chat. All right, please do not forget to get the likes up. All right, because, like, you know, the likes are free. So is this show, but you know, let's do it. I'm pumped today. I don't know why. Let's get this one right up here, guys. Let me know as usual. You know, I like my ones and twos. One, if the audio is good. Two, if it's not. All right, let's get it. Hold up, Cosmic Fool. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, sidebar. Apparently, Auntie Jenny dropped Pearl. She dropped Pearl. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Hold up. now we got to go into the sidebar real quick. I don't chill, because this is something else I called out. Y'all don't believe me. Go to that King Rich's video I did a long time ago. All right, I told you that Auntie Jenny's fake, King Rich's is fake, and they're only defending Pearl when she was doing that racist shit because they were getting paid by Pearl. And I won't be surprised if Pearl probably gave her the boot. I mean, she's not profitable. She's just right. I mean, who wants to go see Auntie Jenny? Like, yeah, Auntie Jenny. Like, what are you teaching the RedPill? Like, honestly, like, just chill. But you, Auntie Jenny, went on this crazy tirade defending your boss, Pearl. All right, and what did I tell you in that King Rich's video? I told y'all that the moment Pearl stops being profitable to either Auntie Jenny or vice versa, they're gonna turn on her because they know the bullshit that we already see, but they're just trying to make us seem like we don't see nothing. You see what I'm saying? So when we're calling Pearl a clear racist, a clear idiot, all right, she's got some issues and probably shouldn't be speaking on issues. These are the same people who are telling us that we're stupid for thinking what we obviously see. All right, like, so I don't get. Listen. Hey, good luck to you, Auntie Jenny. Whatever you decide to do. I mean, you could be maybe the Manosphere's Betty Crocker. I don't know. Maybe start baking some shit and teach these girls how to cook, huh? How about that? I don't know. Whatever you decide to do, I wish you luck. But I told you so. So all y'all need to just stop pretending like you're buddies and friend. And Pearl is this great gift to Black people since sliced bread, and just admit the truth that we've all been saying. She's a fraud, she's a grifter, and most importantly, she's dumb, like unbelievably dumb. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's get it.
You get what I'm saying? Because this is some BS. I've looked at I've looked at this case thoroughly. I've looked at the evidence that the Romanian authorities have, and they don't.
No, you haven't. You don't have access to all their evidence. Why would you say that, Byron?
Have anything. They really don't.
You've handled these cases back in your past as well. Yeah. So
I used to investigate human trafficking. This is not human trafficking, guys, whatsoever. Doesn't even come close.
You know what else? You know what else is funny is that there are a lot of people who purport themselves.
Oh, this guy, the Dodger, the guy that talks shit to me all the time and me watches me and won't talk to me like a little coward he is.
That's Donovan Sharpe. Listen, I'm telling you, these guys are the biggest bunch of bitches. Actually, you know what? I found Donovan Sharpe's true calling. I mean, this is who we're dealing with here. This is your alpha, your masculine leader. Okay, this is what he does in his free time. So listen, I don't know how to do this, so he's a better man than me. But I'm just saying, dude, this is the guy that talks a lot of shit online but never backs it up with any fucking thing. Okay, so just looking at this picture over here, and this guy he's just an internet keyboard warrior. All right, he just sits in his little basement. At least the one Devin's gonna allow him to stay in, and it's gonna be worse for you because you're getting married to her, so good luck with that bullshit. But anyways, he's gonna sit in his basement, all right, and stream to the few people who are still watching him about rah manosphere shit, and obviously he's gonna bring Destiny's name into it because, I mean, let's just face it, that's probably the only way he gets views now. just honestly being just real with y'all. But like, it's funny how we see the healing network forming here. We got Myron, we got MLD. All right, he's the founder of the Healing Endearment Network. Is it the Masculine Endearment Network or Healing Network? He's the leader of that shit, right? So there he is on a platform with Donovan Sharpe, Myron, and Walter. Okay, and they're gonna talk about how innocent Andrew Tate is and how they don't have any evidence, but when it comes to them, they've looked at all the evidence, right? Myron's looked at all the evidence because there's no evidence, right? He's looked at all the evidence, but there's no evidence. Like, but how did you look at all the evidence if there's no evidence that you're claiming? But then the prosecutors are the ones that leaked that evidence that you're saying that there's no evidence. I don't get it. I don't understand where your logic is coming from. Can you present the evidence to disprove that there is no evidence against the evidence they have against Andrew Tate? That would be helpful if you could provide that. Thank you.
To be, I don't want to say legal experts, but just like you said, like we're all friends of Andrew Tate. Of course, we're going to defend him. But on the other side, people are, and guys like Destiny, broadening the,
and he brings up Destiny's name right after Destiny just like recognize him. Hey, ain't that the nigga that randomly brings up my name and talks shit about me? And like, I shit you not, 2 seconds later, this nigga brings up Destiny. I gotta rewind that. Hold up. I gotta rewind that. That was just too damn funny, bro. Donovan Sharpe, you're truly fucking pathetic and predictable.
They talk shit to me all the time.
Hold up.
They really don't.
You've handled these cases back in your past as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So
I
you
used,
know.
I used to investigate human trafficking. This is not human trafficking, guys, whatsoever. Doesn't even come close.
You know what else? You know what else is funny is that there are a lot of people who purport themselves.
Oh, this guy, the Dodger, the guy that talks shit to me all the time and me watches me and won't talk to me like little coward he is.
To be, I don't want to say legal experts, but just like you said, like we're all friends of Andrew Tate. Of course, we're going to defend him. But on the other side, people are, and guys like Destiny.
It brings up Destiny literally a few seconds after Destiny calls him out. It's like, listen, I don't know if Destiny is predicting this shit or he watches the video beforehand. It doesn't seem like he watches the video beforehand, but it's just like, damn, bro. This is just goes to show you how much PTSD the RedPill has when it comes to Destiny, okay? They got so much PTSD from this dude. It's not even funny, bro. They bring his name up in just about every single sentence because to them, like, he's like the other side. He's the guy that they have to oppose. He's the one they can point to collectively and said, that is the blue hair SJW kind of people that we're fighting against. And in this case, he's saying guys like Destiny are responsible because they're creating a narrative about, Andrew Tate being guilty. It's like, whoa. Time out. Time out. Donnie boy. You're sounding crazy. And why are you wearing that bowling t-shirt, bro? Or not t-shirt, that shirt. He's got a bowling shirt on while the dude next to him's got a suit. I mean, I'm getting some mixed value signals over here. So I don't know if dude over here is a high value and you're supposed to represent some kind of Walmart brand, great value, but I'm getting some mixed value signals over here, bro. I think y'all need to work on your presentation. Professional Sports, out to you for the $2 super chat. He says Candace Owens is definitely the biggest grifter. Facts. Listen, all you conservatives are gonna sit there and say, Duke, all right, I hate you for saying that. Please go watch her origin story, okay, of how she became a right winger. All right, and then you tell me if she's grifting or not. All right, that's all I gotta say. And if you all just accept it, then accept it. All right, it is what it is. But don't sit there and act like you're not over here liking Candace Owens because she says exactly what you like to hear. You love your echo chambers and whoever promotes it. It is what it is. But y'all the ones who are informed. Get it right. But shout out to you. They will support anyone that just talks their says their talking points or whatever it is they love. Let's continue.
The definition of human trafficking, right? And it's incredible.
What do you think you like? I bring you to another country. I lie to you about wanting to marry you. I work you as a sex worker. I take some of your money and you work with 70 other girls in a country where you don't speak. Like, if that's not sex trafficking, boss, what the f- is? What do you think is sex trafficking, bro?
Well, it's like, oh, well, they didn't speak the language of it's human trafficking. No, man. What it really comes down to is everybody that's coming after Andrew Tate and guys like you guys, these are enemies of masculinity. And I think we need
Cuck. I wonder if this guy knows, like, do you think if I were to ask him, what does Andrew Tate's cum taste like? Do you think he would give me like a super detailed answer?
It tastes like clout. That's what his cum tastes like. That's exactly what they'll say. It tastes just like the clout we desperately need. Let's keep guzzling on the gift that is Andrew Tate. Pause.
Or do you think you just kind of like, pancake batter? Like he would just kind of like go over it? Do you think you get real into it? Like, oh, well, the consistency, it depends. Like, am I sucking him off when he wakes up first thing in the morning, like the good little bitch boy I am? Or do I wait at night for him to build up a nice big load for like, well, I wonder what his answer would be. I wonder how detailed it would be as he sits there slurping and guzzling down load after load after load from this guy. These guys are so disgusting, dude.
to start calling them that. Enemies of masculinity. That's what this is. And I agree with you 100%. This is 1000% a political hit job. And it's
a political fucking hit job. I hate that they're doing this right now, Chad. I can't stand the fact that they're trying to make this guy a martyr in front of our faces. It doesn't make any sense. A political hit job? No. He got busted for something that was completely unrelated to his little trafficking scheme, and they raided his apartment, or not apartment, they raided his villa or mansion, right? And when they raided his mansion, they took hard drives, they took phones, right? They took all that stuff, right? Because, listen, the first charge was that one girl who reported you to the embassy, and her boyfriend got involved. Y'all remember that? They locked you up, and they raided your shit. And when they raided your shit, they found out, hey, this guy actually might be trafficking, like just based off the evidence they looked at. Now, maybe the girl who falsely accused you the first time with using the embassy and her boyfriend, maybe that was a false charge, okay? But the fact that they found evidence when they raided your equipment to basically file new charges against you, which they eventually did, that means that this has nothing to do with political nonsense. It has nothing to do with what he says online on Twitter. It has everything to do with what they found on those hard drives. And it's crazy that these grown men, especially this dunce in a bowling shirt, just sit there and lie. Just lie to our faces like we're idiots.
Even those on the other side, they realize that this is what's happening, but they pretend that it's something else. Hashtag Greta Thunberg or whatever the case may be, like she dunked on Andrew. Dude, that and those people.
Very good point. But you know why? Because they don't like him.
That's all there is to it. That's all there's to it.
They're a blind eye because they don't like him.
Yeah, if you don't like Andrew Tate, then he is guilty. That's ridiculous. That's stupid.
That's definitely not what it is. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Donnie boy, because I think I got a video of Andrew Tate actually giving the authorities a reason for them to go after him. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Chat, help me out, because I'm about to bring this tape I'm looking at right now. But it seems like the scene looks a little familiar. And the people on this podcast, they look a little familiar too. Huh? Wait a minute now. Y'all help me clarify this, all right, chat? I'm gonna just bring up this video.
Why are you guys in Romania? Can you tell? Well, what's safe for YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. I was in England. I got tired of England. I had to decide to move somewhere, and I'd fought in Romania a few times. And I decided to go to. In fact, I'll tell you this whole story. All right, let me tell you the whole story. Let me tell out in public.
Let's
why
go
I left
down memory
England.
lane.
Let's go down. Let me give out all my world secrets because I'm on my biggest podcast yet, so I might as well tell all my.
He's on his biggest podcast yet. I wasn't lying to you when I told you Fresh and Fit make this nigga big. But Fresh and Fit may also be the reason why he's in jail, because he goes on the biggest platform he's ever been thus far, and he's literally about to self-snitch on why he fled the UK. And it almost sounds familiar to what he's dealing with in Romania right now. Let's continue while these bozos are over here laughing.
Secrets, right?
There you go.
So this is a long story, right? So I had
You probably should keep your mouth shut.
So a lot of people are very curious about how the webcam business worked. So basically, I was sitting there after I retired from fighting, and I thought, I need to get rich today. So I'm Googling up and I'm researching, like, what is money? How does the central bank? Because I thought, if I want money, the first thing I need to do is understand what money is.
Right.
Most people don't know what money is.
Facts.
Right? How does money work? How does a bank work? Where does money come from? So I started like, just going down the rabbit hole. And the more I learned about money, the more mad I got, because I realized it's trash and fiat ain't real, and they just print it from the sky. So I'm like, not only is it garbage, I don't have any. I don't have any garbage. What? So I was furious, right? So I'm watching this YouTube video, and they're talking about assets, liabilities, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there trying to find a way to get rich, and I decided to write down all my assets on a piece of paper. I had like a Range Rover, and I had an apartment under mortgage. I had like 10 grand in the bank, that's it. So I'm writing down my assets. I knew I was big and strong, but I was already fighting. And then when I was writing down assets, I realized, but with my fight career, because I was traveling the world, all I do is, because I always win, because I'm sexy, when you win, it's almost like a given, right? The ring girl's yours. When you win, you smash. Like, they ain't fucking a loser. But if you win, so I had all these girlfriends. I had girlfriends in France, Slovakia, Germany, all these hot chicks. And they thought I was the big millionaire world champion, right? They thought I was living in London with a Ferrari, and I'm still texting them, and they thought I was living the big life.
Damn.
So I was like, well, I could open a strip club, but that takes money. You know, I need overheads, I need money. How can I use these women to make me money? I don't want to put them on the track because they're my women. I don't want to
put them on the track because they're my women. For those of you who don't know what put them on the track mean, somebody in the chat explain that. Hey, y'all are sitting here saying this guy's innocent. Let me just roll that back a little bit more, because he doesn't want to put the women on the track, right? But he's gonna do something else with them, though.
How can I use these women to make me money? I don't want to put them on the track because they're my women. I don't want other people touching my chicks. And by coincidence, I'm just Googling things up, and I discovered this webcam website. And I'd never heard of webcam before. This is a long time ago as well. It wasn't as big as it is now. Now everyone knows about OnlyFans, all this shit. Like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whenever this was, it wasn't nearly as big. And I found this little webcam thing, and I was like, this might be some money. So I text all my girlfriends, I think it was 5 of them, text all 5, said, you're all coming here to live with me and work with me. None of them knew about each other. Bro, Tristan will tell you the story. He'll tell you. All 5 flew in, picked them all up. They're all sitting there. I sat them around the same table. Bro, I need to get paid. Right? I'm broke now. I'm retired from fighting. I have no money. I'm running out of money. So I put them all around the same table.
Pay attention. He keeps repeating he's retired from fighting. He keeps repeating that. But watch what he says, like, towards the end when he talks about when he was going to go to Romania. It's actually conflicting, and it's very, very telling on this guy.
And I was like, look, we're going to start a webcam business. You're going to stay. You're going to live in London. I'm going to look after you, and we're going to get rich. We're going to be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch? I'm like, she's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. She's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're going to stay here, and we're going to make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. In the end, long story short, 3 left, 2 stayed.
Big fight kicked off, all right, because 3 women left, 2 stayed. Why? Because Andrew Tate flew all of them in to where he was at in the UK. Mind you, we're talking about London right now, not Romanian charges, because he hasn't gone to Romania yet. We're talking about London right now, okay? So he flew all these girls in that he fought from wherever he fought from to his villa or house in London or condo, right? And didn't tell either of them about the other one, and they were flown in under false pretense. Right off the bat, bro, that's trafficking. That's the basis for trafficking. Even if those girls know you lied to get them there. They didn't know each other were there, and when they found out the truth, guess what? 3 of them left. They weren't about to be down for that bullshit. Now imagine if you told that to all the other girls you were dealing with past this whole UK thing and while you're in Romania. I'll guarantee you'd have significantly less girls if you were honest with them than you did when you lied to them. Let's continue though, because he's innocent, right?
Those are my first 2 girls, and we started this little webcam business from my apartment, and it just grew and grew and grew, and it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations, and I was doing $600,000 a month from webcam. So
this is in the UK. You started
in the UK.
Right?
In the UK, he grew his business to 600 grand a month with 4 locations. His rise in the UK is starting to sound awfully familiar to his rise in Romania, because he ended up with 7 houses in Romania doing the same thing. A lot of similarities here, but he's innocent.
This is in the UK. But this leads into the story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think I'm the king of the world, right? I have all these women, But the problem is, my first 2 girls who worked for me because they loved me. I love this man. Right. I am with this man. We're a team. He's going to take me from the ghetto streets to the hotel suites, right? So we're working together. Yeah. But then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money.
Here he makes a clear distinction between girls' work ethic when they love you versus when it's strictly business. And mind you, they got him in 4K already. I got the other video where he was saying he was actually teaching guys to make sure that these girls fall in love with you or with him. Now that's manipulation. That's not only manipulation, it could also fall under coercion, right? So now he's also proven other elements for trafficking. Watch what he says next.
So I had a whole bunch of girls working for me who weren't really about it. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up, start being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. Because it's like, it's about that. With women, you never hit a girl, right? Can't do that. But if
we learned that the hard way last week.
You can't hit them. But if all the other girls see me be disrespected, they're going to lose respect for me. Facts. Right?
Yep.
So when she's like, I ain't cleaning that up, you get that. So I was like, look, I don't care. And she was my biggest earning girl. She made me on her own maybe $25,000 a month.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to fire her. And she knew I didn't want to fire her, which is more reason why I had to fire her ass. So I was like, all right, cool. You want to be a gangster? Right, you're a gangster. Got her shit. We're like high up. We're like high up, like here. It was just out the window. So throws out the window. Got her by her 2 arms.
So you threw her shit out the window, and now you're admitting to grabbing her. All right, let's continue.
Marched her out the door, locked the door, end of it. She starts texting me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing. You threw up my blah, 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 blah.
Girl throws up in this building. She didn't want to clean it up. He punishes her by throwing her shit out the window and pushing her out the door, or he eloquently said, grabbing her and rushing her through the door. He still put physical hands on her, right? Another element they have to prove with trafficking is that controlling behavior, right? The what do you call it? The not abuse of power, but it is sort of like a abuse of power, right? How he's enforcing a lot of that mental control, right? He's actually teaching you guys or exposing himself to how he basically subjugated these women onto his mental control, right? If you don't do this, then I have to do this. Why? Because I have to maintain the dominance I have over the other people who are watching. So he's exposing all of this. He's making it sound like it's cool, it's sexy, it's fun. These two bozos, fresh and fit, are sitting there laughing while he's pretty much self-snitching on their platform. And these are the same two bozos, fresh and fit, who they sit there and say, there's no evidence. Show me the evidence. Nigga, the evidence is on your podcast. Are you dumb? Fuck these guys, dude. It's so disingenuous. It's not even funny.
She went to the police.
Oh, shit.
And told the police I hit her when I didn't.
Whoa.
So it's 5 in the morning, and this is about 4 months later. 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. Girl here, chilling, living the life. And I heard the door, boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. The way they knocked that door, I was like, if you were going to rob me, you'd kick the door in, or you this is just too obvious. And as soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. I heard police, and I was like, man. Damn it. I was like, but I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life, right? I've done some things when I had to pay the bills,
Right.
So I was a bit like,
What things did you do to pay the bills? Huh? Selling drugs, maybe?
what's this going to be? So I like flush my phone down the toilet quickly. Boom. Shit, I'm coming. So I'm trying to hide shit. I'm looking around. Like, what do I have to hide? Eventually, the door comes off the hinges. Boom. Police bust in.
Yeah.
Fully armored, helmet. Boom. The guy at the back had a clipboard of me standing there after one of my fights with a world title belt, and they sent like the big man squad, like the crazy man.
Yeah.
All the officers were like 6'6".
Yeah.
The big boys came.
Damn.
They sent all the niggas to get you.
Yeah.
And then Myron, yeah, they just said all the niggas to get you. Did he mention if any of them were black? He said they were big 6 feet guys. Myron, yeah, they sent the niggas. You can't even curb your racism, bro. It's like, dude, chill. All right? He didn't specify the race. He just said they were big dudes that came after him, which is understandable. All right? He's a kickboxing guy. All right? So for you to just assume they just sent niggas, bro, especially after finding out you over here doing streams with Sneeko and Zerka in the KKK mask, bro, stop. You just so weird, dog. Myron, you just so weird. Misinterpretation. Shout out to you. They says he thinks he invented pimping. He has no idea it was already invented and outlawed. Out here learning the hard way. He's about to find out. And he actually admits that he's a pimp on this episode, which I found hilarious.
They said the big boys. And I'm standing there like, okay. So I was like, who are you? And they're like, you're under arrest for a suspicion of assault of this dumb hoe. And I'm like,
wait, this is dumb hoe?
They didn't, but I'm going to protect her anonymity because I'm a nice guy. Dumb hoe. So I was like, I didn't touch that dumb hoe.
Yeah.
And the police were like, well, look, don't talk to us. We just have to bring you in, talk to the investigator. So I went to the investigator. They kept me in a cell for a day and a half. They sent officers to raid my house, took all my electronics, took all my phones, all my laptops, went through my entire personal life.
It sounds like Romania, doesn't it? But this happened in the UK. He's explaining to you how he left the UK. Okay? Pay attention, because it sounds exactly like what happened in Romania. And y'all think we're stupid.
Found 11 new things to raise charges against me for.
Oh, you don't say.
The original case got dropped because she had no evidence and she was lying. Because all the other girls in the house went to on my behalf
and testified against her.
She's lying.
Yeah,
right.
So like, okay, but we've been through his life. He has a Lambo and a bunch of pussy and he's enjoying himself. And that's not allowed in the Western world.
Yeah.
So we've been through his life and we found 11 new reasons to raise crap against him.
11 new charges. Could it possibly be Andrew Tate? Yeah, okay, maybe the first time that one chick, lied or maybe didn't lie, or maybe it could have been dismissed because everyone else can prove that she was lying about you hitting her. Maybe that charge was dropped because there was no evidence. But the fact of the matter is they still raided your shit. And when they raided your shit, they found more evidence to raise 11 new charges on you. This is in the UK. It almost sounds similar to what you went through with Romania. You know, that one girl that pretty much may have lied or may have not have lied and reported to Romanian embassy along with a boyfriend that you kidnapped her, right? Remember, they got you on that one incident, and then when they raided your stuff, they found new things to charge you with. It sounds so familiar, but it's happened to poor Andrew Tate, the innocent guy that the government just wants to hem up for no reason because he speaks out against lies and the truth, right? But here we see patterns. So the UK government, when they came to arrest you 4 months later after that lady filed press charges on you, they raided your house, they looked through your equipment and realized, hey, we could probably charge this guy for trafficking. A lot of this shit, it falls under trafficking, doesn't it? Wait a minute now. Do we have something here? And then they started to work and dig. That's very, very interesting. And this guy sits there and talks about, I can see the future, people. All right. And it's not just the Romanian government that's going to raise charges on me. I predict the UK government is also going to bring charges against me. Yeah, because here you are admitting on Fresh and Fit that they were already getting ready to charge you with shit based off the hard drive they took off your shit. You just admitted that. So you didn't see the fucking future, dumbass. And all these idiots believing that, Tate, they're trying to come at them, the UK government, everyone. No, he did the exact same thing he did in Romania as he did in the UK. That's why he fled. But I'm sorry, bro. Let me just rewind that in case y'all, for the little Tate stands in the back that didn't hear anything. Let me just rewind that for you.
Big boys came.
Damn.
They sent all the niggas to get you.
Yeah,
all the British
they
niggas.
said the big boys. And I'm standing there like, okay. It's like, so I was like, who are you? And they're like, you're under arrest for a suspicion of assault of this dumb hoe. And I'm like,
Wait, this is dumb hoe?
they didn't, but I'm going to protect her anonymity because I'm a nice guy. Dumb hoe. So I was like, I didn't touch that dumb hoe.
Yeah.
And the police were like, well, look, you don't talk to us. We just have to bring you in, talk to the investigator. So I went to the investigator. They kept me in a cell for a day and a half. They sent all.
They locked him up. They locked him up. It sounds similar to what happened to him in Romania. It sounds so fucking similar.
My house, took all my electronics, took all my phones, all my laptops, went through my entire personal life, found 11 new things to raise charges against me for.
11 new charges?
Because the original case got dropped.
We
Because
believe
she
you.
had no evidence and she was lying. Because all the other girls in the house went to on my
And
behalf
testified
said
against her.
She's lying.
Yeah,
right.
So like, okay, but we've been through his life. He has a Lambo and a bunch of pussy and he's enjoying himself. And that's not allowed in the Western world. So we've been through his life and we found 11 new reasons to raise crap against him.
So a guy chilling with women and with a fuck ton of money is not allowed in the Western world. There are a bunch of rappers who do it. There are a bunch of millionaires who are sitting around there with women. Look at Dan Bilzerian, all right? He's a millionaire. He's sitting around with women, and he made a killing off of it. The only thing that took him down was his own fraud schemes. That's it. Other than that, I think the West supports people who have a bunch of money and want women around them, all right? So you're just straight up lying. They brought 11 new charges against you because they could probably have a case for trafficking and money laundering.
I had 11 new charges, blah, 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 and I just woke up one day and said, I cannot live in this I will not live under a government that will do this to me when I've done nothing wrong. So I had to leave and go somewhere, and by coincidence, I had a fight coming up in Romania, so I went.
You had a fight coming up in Romania, but I thought you were retired trying to figure out how you can make money. So now you had a fight coming up, but if you had a fight coming up in Romania and you're saying that you were retired trying to figure out a way to make money, were you really retired? Like, what are you talking about?
And fought in Romania, and I just thought, you know what? I'll hang around here for a few months. And then boom, 5 years later, I'm still there. So that.
And you're still in Romania. That's fucking hilarious. That's fucking hilarious, right? So you're facing charges in the UK, 11 new charges in the UK. You fled after being locked up. You got released. They released you, and you immediately fled to Romania, okay? And not only did you just flee to Romania, you repeated the exact same thing that got you running away from the UK in the first place. And all of the shit that's happening to you now, Andrew Tate, it seemed like it already happened before. And now you're wondering why the Romanian government locked them up while they were investigating them? because he fled the UK while he was still being investigated for 11 new charges. He fled the UK, and he fled to UK to the Romania to avoid those charges, did the exact same thing. So could it just be that the prosecutors aren't as stupid as we think? They saw that he did the exact same thing in the UK, right? They could be possibly sharing case files between each other, looking at the similarities, and they're saying, and UK government saying, hey, watch him. All right, y'all need to do something because he might run. He might flee, maybe to Dubai or some other Arab country or whatever it is, because he's a Muslim now, right? He might flee. So you want to make sure y'all do something before he runs. And the prosecutors taking that advice from UK colleagues, right? And they probably said, hey, judge, we have good reason to believe that this guy represents a flight risk. So why don't we just hold him up here while we're putting all the evidence together? You know, the ones we found on his hard drive after that first initial bust that we did. Oh, it sounds so similar to what happened to the UK. It's almost as if to say that this guy may not be as innocent as we think he is. But y'all letting him fool you. Oh, I'm going to keep playing this shit. This is not going to stop. Let's get back to Donnie Boy being a tard and saying that we have no evidence against Tate. Meanwhile, the evidence was self-snitched on their platforms. They're the reasons why Tate's going down. They're part of it. These fucking losers.
Yeah. And guys, so I'll hit some of these chats real quick, and then from this point forward, we're going to go 50 and up, just so that we make sure that with the show is nice and concise. We can cover, because we got a lot to cover. I got some videos that we're going to play, etc. Hold
up, I gotta play this. I gotta say this. DG, the UK found 11 new things they can charge him with. They didn't officially charge him. They were still investigating. He fled while they were investigating. All right, because they're not going to charge him while they have a plethora of hard drives, okay? Because I know y'all wanted to take defense force people that want to sit there and defend everything, but you need to open your eyes and stop being blind, all right? They were in the process of investigating before they brought charges. That's how it is in most Western countries. While the FBI is investigating you, they might not charge you. If anything, they'll probably do something crazy, like charge you with something else to keep you there. But the UK government was nice enough not to do that. They said, you know what? Let's release him because we dropped the case with the initial battering charge that we had. They dropped the initial battery charge. They let him go after he stayed in jail for a day. And then while he was under investigations for the 11 new things that they were going to charge him with, before he got charged, because he likely knew what they were going to charge him with, he fled to Romania. Use your fucking brain.
Fast. John, did you have anything you want to add before I read these chats?
No. I mean, I honestly just think that what they're doing to Andrew is it's just, I don't care if it was Andrew. I don't care if it was fucking Ethan Klein. It's unjust.
Oh my God.
There's no
justice.
justice.
Ethan Klein, I'd be defending his fat ass too, honestly.
You know? I mean, right.
Yeah. It's wrongfully accused of.
There's no due process, and
there is. Dude, he's literally in court right now. What do you mean there's no due process? What is happening right now? He's arrested. They're finalizing their evidence. They're going to take him to court. They're going to do a trial.
Exactly. They're sitting there saying no due process, even though we watched how the Romanian court did due process, right? And one thing I wanted to add to that last statement, to that commenter, all right? Listen, the UK government can't extradite you from a country if they haven't officially charged you. So that's what I was going to add to that last piece. All right. If he fled before he got charged by the UK government, they can't extradite him for something they didn't charge him with, or while they're still investigating. Maybe they just closed everything up after he left. Right. We don't know that. But what we do know now is the UK government is digging through those old tapes. They're digging through certain things, and their allegations now being brought up. And now there are people looking at him and saying, hey, maybe we should take a second look at this. So just keeping that in mind. But let's continue.
I guess it's judges. Maybe you don't like Romania's due process, but it's a little bit hard to complain about the legal system of another country when you moved there specifically for that country's legal system. You understand you kind of lost the right to bitch and moan and cry about that when that was specifically one of the called out reasons why you moved there?
It just stinks of corruption. And I just think, honestly, it's just, I mean, the way he got banned off social media was not justice. He didn't break any TOS.
No.
And they uniformly got together and banned him.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
This is
You know
a
what I mean?
gross miscarriage of justice. It's incredible. It's unbelievable.
And it's just, the thing is, like, people at home, like, you know, frothing at the mouth, wanting something to happen to him. Like, if we don't stand up and take a stand against stuff like this, like, we're letting them set a precedent
That's
to
right.
do this
Yeah.
Thank you.
to anybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
To anybody.
Could be
And
brother,
this is just not
uncle.
okay. Like, I'm not saying Andrew is 1,000% innocent. I'm not saying Andrew's 1,000% guilty. What I personally believe, I do believe he's innocent. That's my personal opinion.
Mhm.
We're gonna let the court and everything come out with the facts, but
So wait a minute. When women believe things without facts based off their personal opinions, you guys will be the first one to jump down their throats. But when it comes to your guy, you're willing to just throw facts and evidence to the wind and just choose to use your emotions, right? You hear what this endearment guy is saying over here? Oh, yeah, you know what? My personal opinion, I don't know what the evidence is, but I still think he's innocent. I just think he's innocent. But we have the evidence. The evidence was on his fucking show. It was on Fresh and Fit's show. He was sitting right there where you two are sitting right now. And he was self-snitching on themselves while Bozo on the right and Bozo on the left, they were sitting there laughing. They were laughing, Fresh and Fit, while this guy was basically self-incriminating on their podcast. And now y'all sitting there after he got charged with video evidence likely gathered from their podcast. They're sitting here telling you, show me the evidence. Show me the evidence that he's guilty. He did. It was on your fucking show. And other shows that he came across. Matter of fact, you guys were the biggest platform at the time before he went out there telling his story, okay? You guys shotgunned that whole stream out to the rest of the world. You in fact, by giving him the clout he desperately needed to actually make millions, you guys basically sealed his fate. And I find it funny y'all are coming out here now talking about, show me the evidence, he's innocent. Nah, bro, we're just gonna play your show back. Nigga, have you watched your own shit? Like, that's the thing. A lot of these guys don't even smell their own farts. They think their shit don't stink, okay? But if you watched your own shit, you'd realize that the evidence is right there. It's 4K. Y'all got them 4K cameras, right? All right there. And you know what else you can find on that platform? Y'all two sitting there laughing while he sells snitches. Like, what are we doing? What is this? What are we? I'm like, oh my God, chat. Like, these guys give me a fucking headache, bro.
this whole situation is scary to see.
That's
like,
bullshit.
first he got banned off of all social media with no concrete cause.
Yeah.
And now he's been put into jail with these charges. Like, you know, the organized crime is because of him, Tristan, and their two assistants. That's the
Yeah.
organized crime.
Yeah.
And the girls have already been released, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, one girl got released, and I got a video of it. Actually, we'll play it to attend the funeral.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole organized crime thing is strange as well because they're not able to really differentiate the hierarchy. They're not able to really identify.
How do you know that? How do you know they're not able to differentiate the hierarchy?
They just make up bullshit. He actually doesn't know that. He's just saying that because this is what more feel good. This is how bad the cope is for Andrew Tate. It's like we all know they're guilty. Everyone else, but the entire of the red pill manosphere. Like that's what it is. It feels like rational people have like been just moved to one side and they're like that much, and the rest are just filled with just a bunch of these just copers. They're just coping so hard. Some of them are doing it because they want the clout. We're not even lying about that. There are clout chasers in here, and Fresh and Fit are one of them, okay? But a lot of these dudes are really duping these guys to believe that there's no evidence, that none of this is true. But they themselves aren't even proving evidence or providing evidence that what they're saying is real. Myron doesn't have access to any of that. He's just talking. Okay, when they're talking about the hierarchy of the crime, you don't know if they're talking about the hierarchy with Andrew Tate and his brother or the hierarchy with Andrew Tate and the mob. The mob, the Romanian mob. When they talk about organized crime, okay, this is what we're talking about. You got the Romanian mob that could be the possible hierarchy or organized crime that they're going after. But apparently Myron, the guy who's been investigating this shit for all of the year and a half he was employed as a Homeland Security agent, thinks he knows it all. I see why you're not working there. currently, and you're in a podcast defending a fucking trafficker, bruh. And they had to take some kind of test, right? If they're like, if you could tell if this guy's a trafficker, they had a bunch of photos, and it's like photos of people who could potentially be traffickers and like different scenarios and whatnot. Myron couldn't pick him up out of a lineup. He wouldn't be able to do it. That's why you can sit here and platform a trafficker on your podcast and then turn around and say, well, I don't understand why he's being charged with trafficking, even though he explained the story on my show. Like, these guys are crazy, bro.
Like, I'm so curious what his proof is on this. Does he have like some inside line on like?
He doesn't. He's what he's doing is flexing his old position as a Homeland Security agent as some kind of authority, but he doesn't actually know what he's talking about.
Oh no! Oh fuck! How is this broken?
Yes, the Fed source. Yeah, true. This is supposed to split it evenly. Oof. I'll just hope this doesn't get broken again.
People's roles in the organization, etc., which is lawyer talked about this as well.
Right.
But this thing just stinks of inconsistencies and issues, and there's quite a bit of pressure from the U.S. Embassy to take this thing over. And we're going to play a video as well from the two accusers. So can I say that way? Air quotes, the two accusers that went ahead and said,
you don't want the U.S. Embassy or anything with the U.S. government involved in that shit. You don't want you're a fucking former federal agent, Myron, and you're begging. Wait, is this how far the cope has gone to? Where you guys are literally begging the U.S. government to get involved? Do you know what happened? And listen, if the Romanian government doesn't have the concept of RICO, which I doubt, because I think that's what Tate is doing, okay, the U.S. government definitely has a thing called RICO. All right, and I would say, yo, you guys are so desperate. It's not even. It's funny. It's hilarious. I'm actually in love with the amount of desperation I'm seeing from the Tate defense team right now. It's just cringe to see how much length they're willing to go to defend their papa.
Said, "Oh, these guys." So I'll read these chats real fast.
Okay, I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I can never rely on you guys. I need to go. There's a video out with two. If these are two girls that came out and said they later like retracted their allegations, but there's no proof that those two women are the same women that were actually accusing that the Romanian prosecutors are relying on. Like, these are just two random women that say they said something and now they're not saying something. I don't think there's any proof.
No, those aren't those two girls. They're two completely different girls. All right. But these guys, they like to mix and match their facts. That's all it is. So as long as it makes their case look good and their audience is going to believe it. That's it, because they want to believe what they want to believe, and that's the truth at the end of the day. They actually don't give a crap about facts and evidence, even though they pretend to. They actually just want, in their heart of hearts, to believe that Andrew Tate's innocent, even though the real-world facts points otherwise. So there's no proof that those two girls they saw walking around the villa or leaving, whatever it is, are the same ones that are in those text messages. There's no proof of that at all. And if that was, oh my God, like, realistically, like, the government wouldn't have been releasing that because they want those two women who are actually accusing them, they want their identity protected until trial comes. So Myron definitely doesn't have proof those are the same women. It's just lies.
I haven't seen anything proof yet. These are the ones that the Romanian authorities are actually referring to. If they're about to bring up what I'm familiar with.
The bottom line is there's a lot of shitty people out there that just like want to watch the world burn, and they'll go along with this witch hunt just for the sake of it. And then this could happen to somebody else. This could happen to fucking, Antonio Brown. This can happen to Tom Brady. It could happen.
It almost did.
Yeah.
Time out. First of all, don't even bring Antonio Brown into this, all right? Because listen, Antonio Brown, he's going outrageous right now, all right? But all right, dude, listen, he had some solid seasons. Let's just be real, all right? And some people are speculating, and we wouldn't know until he's dead, and we dissect his brain, that a lot of his recent behaviors could be due to that nasty hit he took in that one game. I forgot who he played, but y'all remember that nasty freaking hit Antonio Brown took? I forgot who hit him, but it was a bad hit, bro. He was out. Some people are saying that could be the thing that set his little CTE off the charts. Now, we don't know if he actually has CTE, Antonio Brown, but I'm like, a lot of people are now speculating that some of his outrageous behaviors are probably due to that. And you guys have to understand that CTE is becoming an increasingly large conversation that the NFL doesn't want to have right now, but it needs to be had because there are a lot of former players that are seriously getting into crazy scenarios and either dying or getting locked up. So keep Antonio Brown away from this situation. We still got to figure out what's going with him. Andrew Tate retired. Okay, he retired the game. Antonio Brown is still playing football where he was in Canada, but he stopped. He was up until recent. So let's just chill with that. All right, let's focus on him, Andrew Tate, and stop trying to mix and match other people. All right, Antonio Brown, let's relax.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I just think this whole liberally using the word I got sexually assaulted. Again, I'm not taking away from the women who have had this happen to you because it's happened to women.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there is a lot of social manipulation going on with these women because they're regretting a situation or they didn't like the way a guy made them feel.
Yep.
After the fact.
There you go.
After the fact.
But you don't have any evidence of that.
They
Everything you're
don't.
saying is an okay hypothesis. It could be true, but you have no evidence of any of this. You're just speculating. Destiny is all about institutional barriers and how culture and biases affect hiring, but acts like journalist work isn't affected by the workplace culture limeo. CEO does not necessarily equal workplace culture. It's possible that the CEO could influence you. I don't like, you guys don't have any concept of like proving a point because none of you have ever, I don't know what you guys do. I don't know if you've never went to school. You've never like watched a TV show. You've like, this is what you guys do. Okay. This is what you do. Somebody died in this place. And then you read a log that says, oh, John was at that place yesterday. He murdered him 100%. These are the leaps that you're making in your mind. You guys don't need evidence for anything. It's one of my most irritating points. For progressives do it too, but conservatives are just the same. You guys run purely off of emotions. You have no rationality whatsoever in you. You're not interested in figuring out what happened ever. You just want to emotionally connect dots that make you feel good about yourself. That's all you do, right? You can say a CEO of a company could influence the workplace. That's possible for sure, but that needs to be proven. You're alleging something that needs a single piece of evidence, right? It could be a journalist tweeting, we wanted to run this story and management said we couldn't. It could be articles before Bezos acquired the Washington Post. They tweeted, or they made a bunch of articles that were critical of Amazon, and afterwards they made none, right? It could be somebody being interviewed by a Washington Post journalist says, hey, they asked me a bunch of stuff. There's a million pieces of evidence that could prove any of this, but you have nothing. All you have is, oh, he's a CEO, must be rigged. You don't have any evidence for that. Get out of your feelings and use your brain and try to figure out one piece of evidence to prove any of your stories. One of the worst things, one of the reasons why I just want to play Factorio, and I don't like doing any. So boss don't control their employee destiny site, permaban. See you later. The CEO is not the boss that walks around the floor.
Destiny's just losing.
You ever work a job at Burger
What's
King? When
going
was the
on?
last time you saw the CEO?
Whoa.
Nah, you bugging if you don't think the CEO doesn't influence the company. All right, see you later. I'll unban any of you guys if you bring me back a single piece of evidence, okay? Like, learn how to, this is why I think prop logic, I think a philosophy 101 class should be mandatory teaching in high school. And I think everybody should be forced to learn prop logic. Like, just like a really basic, like, if A, then B, then C. Like, just like that. Like, learn the little, like, the itty bitty, a couple of logical statements and how they connect. I think everybody should be required to do that because the amount of conjecture and jumps that you guys make is so stupid. And then it's boring for me because I'm like, I don't even get to have real debates. I've told you this a million times. When I got into politics 6 or 7 years ago, I thought I was gonna have cool debates. I don't ever have cool conversations. That one with the music theory lady yesterday was probably the best conversation I had in like 2 years because all of you conservative are brain. Like, how am I supposed to argue with you and your feelings about the fucking Matrix or the fucking Red Pill or the fucking World Economic Forum or fucking Klaus Schwab or fucking mRNA vaccines?
This is so true. This honestly, what he's saying is facts because a lot of the what the right wing has become, it's like literally they're taking what they're seeing in society right now and they're making leaps and bounds on this massive conspiracy story they're building in their heads, right? So, for instance, they'll take the conspiracy about how the money flows to our system, like fractional reserve lending, right? And they'll say, oh, well, the government's printing money, and then they'll connect that to some other conspiracy theory like COVID, and they'll connect that to the trans agenda or the LGBTQ agenda, and then they'll say, oh, why this is what they're using to take over the world. It's like, yo, wait, time out. out. Okay, yes, those things exist, but just because that exists does not mean it's connected to that. What y'all have made it seem, especially conservatives now, they're listening to a lot of these conservative media that I would argue that have actually gone way too far right. They're now listening to these guys and they're pumping their heads up with these propaganda, continuously telling them the media is always lying, which it is, but to be fair, they're lying too. The people who are telling you that the media is lying because they themselves are biased. Listen, real research isn't sitting in front of one content creator or what do you call it? What news pundit you like listening to and gathering all the information that they're telling you. Being educated and being informed, meaning is looking through all of the other researchers. Yes, that means even the people you like and don't like, because believe it or not, there's a nugget of truth in all of it. You just have to do the work and do the research. But instead, y'all find one person on YouTube or one pundit or newscaster on TV, and then they say whatever vague theories that links with you, and then you go ahead and just run off with that, and you take that as facts, and that's not how that works, okay? Just because the Epstein conspiracy was one thing does not mean it's connecting to whatever Andrew Tate the fuck is doing, all right? Listen, y'all need to start doing research and stop listening to these goddamn clowns. And he's on point. A lot of, and I don't know if liberals do the same thing. I mean, I don't know. I actually, or not liberals, or leftists, right? The leftists, they don't like the leftists, right? I don't know if they do the same thing, but I hang more around the right, and I'm starting to see this happen a lot more in this space, and it's crazy.
The water supply, like, you have no proof for anything. None of it is fun for me. It's all fan fiction, right? You guys are actively writing fan fiction about the government with no proof, no evidence, except occasionally you'll produce the shitty study, the horrible preprint that gets debunked like 2 days later, and then you pretend like it never existed. Like, it's so fucking boring to me. If you have evidence for something, let's talk about the evidence. That's the entertaining part. That's the part that's interesting. It's like intellectually stimulating. Not like, oh, some girls lie about rape, so this one must die because Vice didn't show all the text messages. All human beings, by virtue of being human beings, have been granted a priori, before you've ever thought a single thought, okay? You have the capability for logical deduction.
Yes. You just have to look at listen, you got to look at the full thing. You can't just sit there and listen to one side, okay? Andrew Tate makes drastic leaps and bounds. He'll talk about COVID, then he'll talk about SJW cancel culture. He'll talk about all these different things and then try to link them all together. It's not the case. It is not the case at all, okay? They're completely different things. And then they'll even take that SJW cancel culture and then they'll see companies adopting SJW or whatever they could classify as SJW talking points, all right? And then they'll instantly think, oh, there's this global agenda, ESG scores, this and that. It's like, no. Could it be that marketing firms that are either contracted by companies or embedded within companies could potentially be just dumb, all right? They might look at trends and say, hey, this left or SJW style trend or whatever it is the right is against, all right? They might just see it as a trend and try to capitalize and try to make money. Like Nike, all right? Looking at the Colin Kaepernick situation. Y'all remember when Nike took that over, right? All right, everybody on the right was like, oh, Nike, they're supporting, people who are, just being victims and pretend to be victims. It's like, okay, that could be the case with Nike, or it could just be the case that Nike just wants to capitalize on Colin Kaepernick's name being big at that time. And this isn't the first time Nike has done shit like that, okay? They will jump at the popular trend, all right, and try to make an effort to do that. Does that mean there's a mass conspiracy that Nike is being infiltrated by some kind of hidden hand to make sure that the SJW agenda continues? No, it's just profits. They want to make money. But you guys are just making these drastic leaps and bounds, and it makes y'all look so silly that you're actually listen, because I've listened to some people, and I don't know if this is true, but they're saying that the conspiracy term or conspiracy theory term is a CIA invented thing. All right. And I don't know whether I believe it or not, but seeing how people are like jumping into these conspiracy theories and believing some of these nonsensical conspiracy theories that are out there, now it's like I'm starting to believe that maybe that was a thing that the CIA did, right? Because I mean, what else? Like, there are a bunch of people who are just saying these dumb things. Now it's hard to distinguish what's real and what's not, because everyone wants to put everything together. So like, that shit just frustrates me when people do that shit, because now I'm starting to think maybe the CIA really did invent the conspiracy term to basically disprove or water down shit that actually happens, because they know idiots will go around and start making leaps and bounds and connections that aren't really there. And then you lose the rest of us. This is crazy. I'm sorry, guys. Chat, I'm sorry. I can't remember I went in. I had to do that. Misinterpretation. Shout out to you for the $10 super chat. He says they keep trying to conflate some wealthy men being accused of sexual misconduct by an individual with this man being investigated and criminally charged by prosecutors. Facts. Because back when MLD, Mr. Endear guy, he was sitting there talking about Antonio Brown when they came after him, right? You know, like, now they're doing it to Tate. It's like, no. Okay, Antonio Brown, there's a legitimate reason to believe that he might actually be suffering from CTE, okay? And if you look at Antonio Brown's, his behaviors, and here's what I'm getting at. His behaviors, okay? Because some people say, well, Andrew Tate's a boxer, he can have CTE. No, CTE happens worse in football. Actually, being a kickboxer, you're actually safer. Matter of fact, in mixed martial arts, I won't say you have a high chance of getting CTE in those fields. Anything that knocks your head around and makes your brain move, you have a high chance of getting CTE. But it's worse in football than it is with martial arts, and it's evidence to prove that, right? But listen, comparing Antonio Brown's actions off the field and on the field to Andrew Tate's actions, you could tell with Antonio Brown, there was a bit of like this. There was no organization. It was all disorganized. He would just do like crazy things that were not favorable to him. All right, like taking the shirt off and quitting in the middle of a football game, running around. I think that's a crazy thing to do. Like it hasn't been done like that since Antonio Brown does it. All right, or some of the outlandish things he says. That right there, you can attribute to someone who's actually probably losing his mind. Andrew Tate getting busted for running an organized operation, whether it's proven criminal or not, is completely different, because the big difference is Andrew Tate and his criminal organization that he's running. It proves that you need some kind of mental faculty to do that. You need some kind of focus. The way he does his thing, there's no sign of him going crazy, so you can't make that comparison. But what do you see in the RedPill all the time? You see these guys coming up here, oh, he's just like Michael Jackson. Yeah, they tried to get Michael Jackson, right? Oh, it's just like Antonio Brown. Stop comparing these two people. They live completely different lives, all right, and do completely different things. Just stop it. Shout out to you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I had to go in on that one because, yeah, you're making sense. Professional Sports Enterprise, shout out to you. He says common sense isn't too common. Some people still believe that the earth is flat. Facts. I feel sorry for y'all. Hey, those of y'all who believe the earth is flat, I got a bridge in France to sell you. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy that y'all, there's still flat earthers out there, bro. Like, it's insane. There's another one that Destiny did, right? Because this one was when he was going in on Fresh and Fit, and I'm glad he exposed them. But now we're going to go into what Destiny thinks about Andrew Tate. He actually thinks Andrew Tate's a loser, right? And this is a guy, by the way, that is cool with Tristan Tate. They're all cool and whatnot, and he's done, I'm sure he's done stuff with them in the past, right? Like content or some kind of lab. I'm not actually sure, right? But I'm certain there's some kind of back connection, because otherwise he wouldn't have that level of communication he has with Tristan Tate, right? So now Destiny started to realize that Andrew Tate is a loser, but not only a loser, he's a fucking scammer. That's all we've been saying, right? Everyone is glorifying a loser and a fucking scammer as a hero, and that's literally, these guys talk about Matrix all the time. Society's going bad, right? A lot of these guys on the far right, or even on the right, they will talk about how the left is ruining society with all the LGBTQ and stuff like that. But on the other hand, they have no problems propping up a rapist like Charleston White, or propping up someone who is literally a trafficker like Andrew Tate. They would prop up all of these immoral behaviors from these leaders, all right? And even some of the guys who we want to talk about Trump, all right? I'm not even getting to that conversation, but you can lump him in that category too. And Trump, just like Tate, had mob ties. You can't deny that. His family or him himself had ties to the mob, especially in the New York construction business. They had mob ties. So, but these guys who are conservatives, quote unquote, will elevate degenerates while demonizing the other group for elevating what they consider degenerates. It's like, don't y'all see yourselves as hypocrites? Like, y'all are calling out people for y'all doing the exact same thing. That's why no one rocks with y'all. And people are just like, fuck this politics situation because y'all look stupid, right? That's what I'm saying. Professional says, I do MMA. I think football is worse for CTE. Facts. Football is, because there's always constant contact. Okay, even if you don't got the ball, if you're on a line, you're making contact with the D line, right? If you're if you're a wide receiver, you're making contact with the D back. All right, if you're a running back, whether you have the ball or not, first of all, running backs, you get destroyed. Your body just gets chewed the fuck up. But if you're not even running the ball, if you got to do a pass block, right? You're making contact. You're always making contact. You got these big guys with big equipments and padding all over the place running at full speed at you. It's a worse off situation than dodging a few kicks and blocks from a punch coming. You're like I would take boxing all day. Like, listen, there's a reason why I continuously box, but I would not go play semi-pro football. I got friends who still play semi-pro football because they just want to still get in the groove of things, but I'd never do it. One of them just had a ACL injury, bro. That's crazy. I'm like, no, bro, what the fuck? Like, you're 35. Enough. What are you trying to prove? Football is crazy, man. Like, I'm not doing that shit no more. I was done in college, bro. I'm like, we're done. We out here. We're done. I would much rather take up boxing and make even MMA. I would do MMA over football. That's how crazy. Like, I don't even think about doing football no more. Like, this CTE is not a joke.
This is low. It's low. We let you in. We tried to take care of you, and you're sitting here and just attacking us for 3 hours, bro.
The world is asking these questions, and the viewers will be asking these questions.
It's a consistent leading question, a consistent narrative. Where's the question about the good he's doing for men? Well, there's a very clear narrative. I need to leave.
So Vice did an interview with Andrew Tate where it was basically set up to question him about his supposed crime. It's riddled with bias and aggressive questions that make him out to be a criminal. And it's completely and utterly biased from the get-go. Part of being an impartial channel is that we have to be prepared to defend both sides.
What?
And this time we're going to be defending Andrew Tate from Vice's unfair and biased questioning. Now, I am not an Andrew Tate fan, but I do respect his work in terms of his numerous successful businesses and work ethic. It's just his sociological views I can't agree with. Anyway, with that being said, let's take a look.
Okay, as I've read more and understand more about Andrew Tate, I think he's just a loser. I think he's just a loser. I don't think that. I don't even know if I respect him on the business side of things. So it seems like he traffics a bunch of women, and then he scams up all the guys. I started listening to more and more of like his business model and stuff off stream. The goal was to scam the out of a lot of the guys. His whole business of like how he ran things was a giant scam. That's all it was. He had guys doing the messages. He was tricking like lonely virgins in Europe that they were going to fly girls out to scam money off of them and everything. He was a great kickboxer. Was he actually? I feel like one time in the past.
Listen, even Destiny is coming to the same, because I don't think a lot of these guys, they actually research the content creators they collab with, right? Because if you actually research Andrew Tate and look at what he does, you just go on Google and start looking, go on YouTube, watch his videos. Like, the deeper you look into it, you start to find out, yeah, bro, like, wait a minute. You were a kickboxer, okay, fine. All right, but you were just admitting that you were broke after you retired kickboxing. All right, so the only form of money that you made was becoming an internet pimp. That was your only form to making a shit ton of money. And when you made this enterprise, the women weren't actually the ones talking to these men. They weren't. It was guys you hired or you yourself that were messaging these men. So these men that are being messaged by these pretty faces they're looking at online don't even realize they're being defrauded by you. So you're defrauding these men, scheming them for millions. He said the most he's ever done was $1 million from a guy, right? And then you turn around, get big on social media, get on these platforms and say, oh, men are weak today. Men are simps. Men fall for all these women in traps. Follow me. I am the North Star. I will teach you how to be a man again. He comes in and criticizes the same behaviors that he's responsible for putting out there. He's a fraudster. Like, that's what he is, but they glorified his frauds as heroes. That's what we come to as a downfall of society, where these guys they're uplifting fraudsters and mobsters and crime lords, all right, to be the heroes of society, while people who actually do good in the world are being, cast aside. Even in rap music, right? Not rap music. Well, it is rap music, but like actually, you know what? I'm not gonna cap. Rap music is a big problem. Like hip hop is starting to become a problem, bro, because we're glorifying killers. Every day, they're young kids who are coming up there rapping and bragging about killing their own fucking cousins. That's how crazy it's gotten to. Family don't mean shit no more. You just go ahead and rap about killing your cousin. Over what? Whatever block you guys grew up on? That's crazy. that needs to stop. But we glorify it. We pay them for the music. We sit there and laugh and we cheer them on. We go to their concerts while they're singing about murdering and being serial killers. So if we want to talk about downfall society and matrix, all right, red pillars, y'all need to look in the mirror. Actually, realistically, everybody got to look in the mirror. Maybe we pinch ourselves and wake up. I don't know. This is,
I feel like I said, like, oh, well, I'll give him credit at least for kickboxing. And then somebody said, no, he did like 3 matches and he lost 2 of them or something. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe you can give him credit for kickboxing if he was good at that. Okay, so I guess he gets credit for kickboxing, but like in terms of how he made his money, his whole business and everything was just like a scam. He's just like a scammer. Yeah, I don't know. I just like the amount of respect that I have for this guy just like goes really well. Like the more that I learn,
he's losing respect.
He won the equivalent of a couple of ESL weeklies and called himself a world champ. He inherited a fortune from his father. His record is high. I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to put together like an Andrew Tate thing because I'm curious because I feel like there's so much weird shit around this guy. I don't know if I've seen it all in one place. His kickboxing record was 76 wins, 9 losses. Damn. Don't listen to people in chat. His record is highly disputed. He fought random ass dudes with no records. Oh, damn, we're all over the place here.
Is this true?
Okay, anyway, we'll listen to this guy.
John, hey, Moxie, I think this super chat is addressed to you. I'm going to leave it up here.
With Andrew's team increasingly conscious of negative publicity, tonight could be the last chance to interview him. Do you consider the possibility that some of the things that you've said, which have been viewed 11 billion times, may lead to an attitude towards women that could be harmful?
I accept that across all of that viewership, I have perhaps, possibly, maybe said one thing, or maybe 2, that has upset a large range of people.
Wouldn't it make sense to just apologize for some of the things you said, acknowledge that they have caused harm, and say that you won't say those things again?
No, and I'll tell you why.
So there is nothing wrong with this question here. It's basic journalism to confront people with tough questions that the public are very well arguing. Andrew Tate downplays the allegations made against him, saying that he may have said 1 or 2 things in the past.
And you know what I'm starting to realize? The Vice interview is starting to sound a lot similar to the BBC interview. Y'all starting to notice that? Because when I watched the Vice interview, because I had to watch it. I actually didn't watch it until like recently. It was like a couple of days ago, right? That's why I never did a video on it. I never did a video on it because I didn't watch it. But after I watched it, I was sitting there and I'm like, yo, what y'all? So it was basically like the BBC interview where they were just asking him questions about the case, and Vice was actually a lot nicer than the BBC was, because that lady came in, she was like, all right, what about this article over here, what about what she said, whatever. Vice wasn't that crazy. Now the one thing that Tate is alleging that this was a snaked deal with the Vice media or whatever is that Vice, at least started out nice, all right, and then they started easing into the serious questions, which is the same thing the BBC did. So ultimately what this guy is looking for in the media are for people to basically fluff his feathers, all right, to make him seem like he's a great guy and the whole media narrative is false, right, against him. But it's all they did was just asking you objective questions. So the Vice is starting to sound very similar to the BBC. Because the BBC I was watching, I'm like, why is everyone saying this is bad? Like, it wasn't even, the BBC interview wasn't bad. She was asking you questions that obviously you couldn't answer because you had an ongoing investigation. The same thing with Vice. It just seems like Andrew Tate doesn't want to work with media that isn't sucking his, you know what I think. You know what it is. You know what it is. I don't even have to say it. You need to treat him nice, yet he gets to criticize you. But you have to treat him nice. And then what it is, they're just asking the questions. If you don't want those questions being asked, then don't go to the media while you have a live investigation going. Like, honestly, chat, I was looking at this. I'm like, wait a minute. I watched this Vice thing. Like, these are the same questions I would ask. Like, am I going to be disingenuous? I guess. Why not? But if you don't want me asking those questions, don't go on a media tour while you have a live investigation going. Anna, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, I have been suppressing my opinion for such a long time. The nuance to the manosphere / red pill space wasn't available. The pendulum is finally swinging. Facts. Because a lot of people are getting sick and tired of this red pill shit. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are getting sick and tired of this red pill shit, this constant women hating. Because listen, the red pill's it wasn't all bad. All right, it wasn't all bad. Even the black manosphere and the manosphere, right? It wasn't all bad. But essentially what started to happen was a lot of people just found it easy to get more views just going in on women, and especially in the black manosphere, because that's where I paid a lot of my attention to at first, right? Because a lot of my audience members, right, they know where I came from, black manosphere, right? So especially watching that and just watching the hatred a lot of these guys had towards their women, it wasn't that hard to look out and start to see, yo, this whole thing is just filled with women hate. Whoa, hold on. Whoa, all the stuff because you start to ask questions. You see these guys criticize women for the very same thing guys would do. But then when you see other examples of guys doing that in the red pill space, a lot of these same guys that would criticize women harshly for that same thing would go ahead and give the guy a pass. And I'm like, wait a minute now. Because do we actually want men to be better? Because if we want men to be better, we'd hold them accountable just like we're holding these women accountable. And then once we start to see less of that, we had to see you're going to start seeing more of these voices come out and say, yo, stop this shit. You guys sound ridiculous. You can't just criticize women for the same thing men do. Like, I mean, yeah, you guys hide it under this banner of traditionalism and all this bullshit. You can't do that no more. All right? Because especially now we're starting to realize a lot of these men are just as emotional as these women they hate. It's starting to get crazy. And all of a sudden, it's like y'all are just banding together, a bunch of men, watching another dude who's shirtless preach to you about how much women suck. And y'all will do nothing else, and y'all will want nothing else in this world than to just gather around a bunch of men and just talk about how much y'all just hate women. Ooh, those girls. Ooh, we don't want to deal with them. Guys, we're just so much better. Let's just corral ourselves together and just, listen to our shirtless leader, Papa Tate, right? Just give us the good word from the emergency meeting, all right? But fuck these hoes. Fuck these women. Like, y'all need to stop. Y'all looking mad zesty, bro. Like, stop. Go out in the real world. Go deal with some girls. And yes, I don't care how many times these red pillars say avoid heartbreak. It's inevitable. All right. Just like Andrew Tate going to prison, it's inevitable. So you might as well just stop wasting your money on these super chats you're sending these red pill boys. All right. And go spend it on a date or go do something or do something, which is or a video game if that's what your alley. Okay. Listen, I game too. So I got nothing against that. Whatever keeps you away from the manosphere of the red pill, get out. Y'all just turned into goddamn stand boys. Great Bill. Shout out to you for the $5 or $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Let's continue.
He knows this isn't true. I consider him a marketing expert, and he definitely deliberately says these incredibly bold and sometimes sexist statements to generate press, and it absolutely works. People like Jeremy Clarkson have been doing it for years, and it has helped make them a household name. A lot of people idolize him, not because he's sexist and because of his views, but they idolize him because in this age of cancel culture, he speaks his mind. I respect that about him despite not agreeing with most of what he says.
I'm not going to apologize for the edits of other people. I'm not going to apologize for the misunderstandings of other people. There's a whole bunch of clips people are making which make me look very bad. That's not good for my life. That's not good for business.
The clips that portray you in a negative light also help the algorithm to make you become more famous and more viral.
I'm not an expert on algorithms for social media platforms. I do not have most of them installed on my phone. I cannot control what a 15-year-old Singaporean decides to do when he chops me up and calls me names. I can't control that, and I wouldn't try to.
When you search for your name in Google, what are the associated terms as human trafficking?
I was not formally charged. I have no criminal record. I've never human trafficked anyone in my life.
That's what he has to say.
Then have the Romanian police said the investigation is ongoing?
So he does a very...
And these aren't like gotcha questions or anything. These are just like, okay, Andrew Tate, this is the buzz around you right now. If you Google your name, there's trafficking next to it, all right? Can you explain what this is? Like, it's no different than giving a press conference, all right? You give a press conference of what's going on. You can say it's false and whatever it is, but for you to turn around and say they snaked you and the Vice, you got a bunch of people believing that Vice actually fucked, like, bruh. Listen, Vice, I don't agree with Vice because I think Vice got some wishy-washy ways, but, like, watching this interview, bruh, come on. Because especially now seeing that you're saying the exact same thing about the BBC, that bruh, I'm starting to believe you don't like it when the media starts asking you serious questions. That's what I'm starting to realize.
Very clear distancing behavior when confronted about deliberately saying these outrageous statements because it generates clicks and publicity. People typically distance themselves from people that cause them stress. And Andrew Tate noticeably does this right after the guy asks this question.
He also did it when the red pill started to get crazy. Y'all remember that? He started to distance himself from the red pill too. I didn't forget. I remember because he was all over Fresh and Fit with the red pill messaging. And all of a sudden, Daddy Rolo made it stupid. He was like, oh, red pills for incels. Yeah, it's for incels. I don't fuck with that. It seems like Tate distanced himself a lot from things that could potentially connect them to other things that are not good.
Andrew Tate is clever. He knows marketing. Heck, his whole Hustlers University was a marketing ploy to make thousands of people re-upload his content. This is his exact area of expertise, and he knows it, which is why he looks away when he lies. Now, this is where we see Vice turn from good journalists into manipulative and biased journalists. They use the fact that people have searched for Andrew Tate trafficking as an excuse to steer that conversation into heavily trying to imply that he's guilty despite these charges being dropped in the past. Vice then asks an utterly manipulative and biased question. Jesus. Andrew Tate has just said that he's not guilty and has no criminal record, and Vice being the incredibly bad.
Whoever's narrating this sounds like they really love Andrew Tate. Like whoever's narrating this video right here, they definitely love Andrew Tate. Like what? What is he saying right now?
Journalists they are, then attack his innocence by asking why he's being investigated.
Even Destiny knows it.
By phrasing this as a question, they are pretending to act impartial despite it being loaded with bias. They may as well have just said Andrew Tate must be guilty because the Romanian authorities are investigating him. That's what I have a problem with. They are assuming
that's not what they were insinuating at all. They just said, hey, you Google Andrew Tate's name, a bunch of trafficking shit comes up. What's up with that, Andrew? That's all they said. How is that being disingenuous? Like, what? How can you even? Where's the evidence for you to imply that that's what Vice TV was trying to do? Like, there's no evidence, but yet now Vice TV, they're biased and they would try to take him down because they were asking, if you Google your name, it's got trafficker all over it. Why is it like that? What are these charges that these people are saying? That's not. Whoa, this guy sounds like he really slurping off that Tate juice. That's just what it is. John, shout out to you. He says red pill equals Zaddy chaser. Shout out to you. Muad'Dib, shout out to you. He says, I'm calling it now. These dudes will be riding up the Hershey Highway after the RP is done, and they keep striking out with women. Facts, especially if they buy game from Myron. Yeah, it's not going to be looking too good. Moxie, shout out to you. He says, Manister equals Bussy Sphere. Watch your bum, bro. Hey, I would tell that to Tate. I mean, that should be like the last thing he needs to hear before he finally gets carted off. I mean, it's crazy the amount of denial that he's going through right now, which is crazy. John, shout out to you. He says, for the low price of $49.99, you too can learn how to hate women and earn your own Zerka Zaddy. He says, more like for $49.99, I'll teach you the skills to help you land yourself in a Romanian prison like I did. I mean, that's exactly what he was doing in that space. It's crazy.
That he's guilty before a trial has even been concluded. For a mainstream news agency to violate innocent until proven guilty personally scares me, because if they can do it to him, they can certainly do it to you. This bad journalism also drives people to support Andrew Tate.
I'm not sure where you got that information from. I'm not sure who said it. Is there some kind of procedure that must be completed? I don't know.
There has been a lot of bad press about you. That's made some nervousness within members of the war. And why is that?
Well, obviously, when people are going to continue to lie and continue to do very, very shallow, very, very fictitious investigations, people are going to lose faith in you. The media has lost all credibility because you do not try and portray the truth anymore.
One thing that stands in the way of truth, for example, is when we often do documentaries, we have...
You know what I do respect Andrew Tate for? And I'm thinking back to that like big apology video he did when he got initially banned from social media. I do think that Andrew Tate is a good con man. And I respect that hustle. And I think that's about the extent to what he's capable of and what he can deliver on. Is he's a very good con man.
Full access to speak to anyone we want. But in this documentary, we've been very closely watched by the sartorial shooter at Alpha Wolf, picking who we can speak to, monitoring the interview. What is it that you're worried that we're going to find out?
These questions are so low.
This is low. It's low. We let you in.
Wow, what was so low about that? Like, chat, honestly, listen to what this guy said. Like, a lot of these Tate stands took it and said, oh no, like the Vice media was being mad. Like, this guy is literally trying to be as soft as possible asking these questions. He's like, yo, why are people in your own course, Andrew Tate, saying that you're a trafficker and you're teaching them how to be traffickers? Why are people in your own, and then you're making it seem like, whoa, I gotta play that back, bruh. I have to play that back because this dude is literally whining about the media doing your jobs. That's what he got all of y'all sitting here crying about, that they were asking him just questions, but it was somehow disingenuous and a plot for the media to shut him down. He keeps referring to Vice and the BBC. That's his like sword he wants to die on. But when you actually watch his interviews, they're not actually crazy. If anything, I thought Piers Morgan was crazier than these two. But you don't see him talking about Piers Morgan. I thought Piers Morgan went harder than these two did, the BBC and Vice News. This is crazy that he's whining about this.
Alpha Wolf, picking who we can speak to, you know, monitoring the interview. Yeah. What is it that you're worried that we're going to find out?
These questions are so low.
This is low. It's low. We let you in. We tried to take care of you, and you're sitting here and just attacking us for 3 hours.
The same thing he said about the BBC when they was asking questions. Oh, I let you in my house, and you're gonna do this to me? Ask me these questions? But he's saying, hey, listen, you're being very guarded about these issues, but yet you're saying you're innocent and there's no evidence, right? Even to the point where we're coming over to interview you, you have all these standard questions you want us to ask you, meaning you're not really for free speech because you want us to ask you a set amount of questions. So what is it that you're trying to hide if we do ask you these questions? That's a perfectly reasonable question to ask, because you are being shady around these questions that has to do with trafficking, which you should, because it's a current investigation for you. See, Vice News didn't know that. You knew that. And you also knew that you couldn't talk about these serious charges that are being thrown against you. So instead of just saying, hey, you know, how about we just cut it off right now? It is what it is. You would just flip it on the media and attack them. Oh, this is so low. How dare you? Oh, I'm going to clutch my pearls. I can't believe you. Like Andrew Tate, like honestly, just going back and watching this shit is pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Y'all sit there talking about free speech and, you know, whatever it is, but here's your daddy over here wants specially curated questions so people don't take him out of context. Like, bro, it's what you Google your name. That's the context. Trafficking, like literally. Google. Hey, how about a nice little exercise? You guys out there, Google Andrew Tate and see what else comes up. And if you were a journalist, like, hey, if you genuinely thought he was innocent, right? I'd be like, yo, hey, honestly, bro, I think you're innocent, Andrew. Great guy, whatever. All right, but I Googled your name and there's sex trafficking tied to it. Like, why are all these people saying you're a trafficker? That's a perfectly legitimate question, especially if they're coming at it from an unbiased perspective, right? If they're unbiased about it and they're saying, hey, if I Google this guy, a bunch of stuff about trafficking pops up, yeah, they're going to ask you about that. You don't like it because it doesn't favor your image in the media. That's what it is. So I just love how these guys like to hide all this stuff under Matrix and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate would love nothing more than to talk to the media, to be with the media. He wants that shit because the media gets him more money. He wants it. His whole goal is to be part of the elite. That's what he is. He actually is an elitist. That's what by definition, because the amount of money he makes, he's an elitist. He's not even in the same class that he proclaims to help. Go figure.
The world is asking these questions and the viewers will be asking these questions.
It's a consistent leading question, a consistent narrative. Where's the question about the good he's doing for men? Well, there's a very clear narrative. I need to.
Where's the question about the good he's doing for men?
Question, which is basically a statement to try and manipulate the viewers. What is it you're worried we're going to find out? Is basically the equivalent of them saying Andrew Tate is hiding something because he won't give us access to everyone in his organization.
That's not what it means at all. This guy is coping. Whoever is doing this voiceover, this guy is definitely, he's one of these copers that is pretending to be unbiased. That's what it is. That's a lot of these RedPill guys do this, right? They pretend that they're unbiased. Meanwhile, they're clearly displaying their bias throughout the whole thing for other people to eat up. This is insane.
This is again incredibly biased and unprofessional journalism that has one aim: to manipulate and push a narrative on viewers. I do not like Andrew Tate. I believe he teaches a lot of deeply disturbing ideas about women that have very real implications, but he has done good as well. These questions are so biased, and if they can do it to him, they can do it to you too.
This guy.
What the fuck? Wait a minute. Asking him questions about stuff that is written about him and being filed against him online, that's biased because they didn't ask him questions about his mental health and how he feels? Is that what it is? So if they asked about all the good stuff he did in the world, his mental health and all the stuff like that, right, that would be unbiased. But if they asked him questions about clearly stuff that they're doing, if anybody else was doing research on him would find out, right? If they asked him questions about that, that's being biased. And then this guy has the gall to say, yeah, I'm not an Andrew Tate fan. Bruh, you sound like you're on your knees right now guzzling whatever he's dishing out. That's what you sound like. You sound like you're a Tate lover, bruh. Stop it. Stop with this, pretending to be unbiased and whatnot. Like, I don't like the Tates. But no, you love the Tates because even doing that video got you views. Fuck.
Time favorite quotes is, quote, I disagree with what you have to say, but I will defend
your right to say it.
your right to say it.
Thanks,
unquote.
buddy.
I am a firm believer in free speech, and these clever, manipulative questions to tell viewers that Andrew Tate is a criminal are incredibly disturbing and morally wrong. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.
This guy's a dummy. Whoever's narrating this video, he sounds stupid, bro. He's like, bruh. Honestly, dog, I don't like, bruh. You sound insane. All right, yeah, it's just unbiased. All right, you gotta ask him questions about, other things aside for you. Y'all just focus on that. That's just, that's so crazy, bro. There's no evidence. All right, bro. You guys. I wonder what y'all is gonna say when they find him guilty and he gets locked up. Anna, shout out to you for the 2,000 It says Duke the Dance here. Shout out to you. Thank you. He says Jacked and Stacked. Shout out to you. He says, take a look at Just Pearly Things Dead channel. It's drying up. Listen, did we all know that was gonna happen? Did we all know that shit was gonna fucking happen, bro? This is crazy. But you know what's even crazier than that, chat? What's even crazier than that is Candace Owens, okay? Because Candace Owens is somebody I would have never expected to come in here and defend Andrew and defend Andrew Tate the way she did, right? And this is a woman who's supposed to be conservative, all right? A woman who's supposed to basically be against women acting crazy, especially when it comes to black women, acting ratchet, all right? It's against women, living lifestyles where they can be promiscuous, right? Sleeping with multiple guys, right? The traditional conservative values is what Candace Owens and her platform wants to promote, all right? When Steven Crowder had that little video exposed about him, all right, she was the first one to step in, rightfully so, and said, this is unchristian-like. This is un-Jesus-like for Steven Crowder to treat his wife, who's barefoot and pregnant, the way he treated her. She was one of the main ones to come out against Steven Crowder, right? When he had his little anti-conservative thing going on in there, right? But when it comes to Andrew Tate, someone where there's clear evidence of him not only beating women online, we've seen that. I have the video. I've played it already, all right? We've seen that, all right? We have evidence of him trafficking women. We have evidence of him talking shit and trash about women. And not only that, we also have evidence of the women that he deal with that goes directly against conservative, at least traditional conservative values that are supposed to be applied to conservative women. All right, especially the kind of women he deals with on a daily basis. He is the exact opposite of what conservative stands for. So I was so surprised and shocked to see Candace Owens, of all people, jumping in with the Tate Defense Force wagon. I couldn't believe, what came out of her mouth right here. I realized that this woman I already realized this, but I think a lot of people realize this shit too, because we're about to read the comments too. This is her channel. The comments were crazy. A lot of them were like, yo, Candace, what the fuck happened to you? You are definitely a hypocrite, right? Because you're going to go after Steven Crowder, but then defend Andrew Tate. Sounds like you have no integrity. Sounds like you're doing this for clout, but it's not just me. Let's listen to Candace Owens' own words.
Tate, huge update. We have obviously been covering that story. We have actually in the background been setting up an interview with Andrew and Tristan Tate about everything that's going on, because it's been kind of crazy. It almost feels like the media conspired to make them the most hated people in the world, especially Andrew Tate. And then out of nowhere, Romania announced that they were investigating them and put them in a prison cell. for almost 2 months of tiny prison cell as they were investigating them, and they brought no charges, couldn't justify keeping them in that small prison cell, so forced them into house arrest. They didn't want them to be able to.
Hey, Lord activists, get the fuck out of my chat. Listen, any of y'all that think like this, please get out. I don't care, bro. I don't listen. He says, bro, stop. You're a grown-ass man. There's no substantial evidence of fully indict this man. Why he's so currently on house arrest, not in prison. Congrats, you lost a slub. Get the fuck out. I don't care. Hey, any of y'all that think like this, get out. I don't want you. First of all, first things first, I don't do this for subs, likes, or anything like that. I don't care. I do this because I want to do this, all right? And it's honestly genuinely funny to criticize these guys, although it gives me my headache, all right? Listen. If you actually believe there's no evidence to charge this man, and even the videos he even played on Fresh and Fit with Andrew Tate on Fresh and Fit of him exposing himself, and that's not evidence enough for you, the chat logs and everything's not evidence enough for you, you're one of these Defense Force stands masquerading as a sub. And honestly, all of y'all who are part of this Tate Defense sub, whatever, get the fuck out. I don't want nothing to do with you, because when your daddy ends up in jail, all right, don't come crawling back, because we already said this a long time ago. I called this back last year. I said he's going down. When I played the first video of him whipping up a girl, a lot of y'all people, y'all came up here and said the same thing. And now everything I'm saying now, thus far, 2023, is coming to pass. And you talking about you lost a sub. Get the fuck out. I don't want you here. I don't want any of y'all here that believe this shit. If you support this guy, it is what it is. Get out. I don't care. Your sub means nothing to me. Realistically, I just care about what I care about, and that's it. Like y'all are crazy. That's how I know y'all lived online for too damn long. Just like, come on, bro. Let's continue. Y'all are you crazy for even putting that in the chat. Hey, moderators, please ensure that person never comes back here again. Hey, congratulations. You don't come back.
To leave the country as they continue to investigate them. Again, I have said it does not matter what you think about Andrew or Tristan Tate. The truth of the matter is there is no justice system that is operating under a justice motive if you're going to lock people up while you investigate them. Well, the Tate brothers have been kind of saying online, listen, they're running out of time. The way it works, they have 6 months to bring about charges, and they had two possible scenarios that they would obviously have nothing, and they'd have some major egg on their face, prosecutors, or they would just drum up some ridiculous charges that they felt pretty confident they were going to be able to fight, because apparently initially they had these women that said that there were human trafficking charges and their stories got a bit fuzzy. That sort of fell apart, but the brothers were not able to speak out because they said that they would say that they were trying to influence the investigation. So they haven't really been able to speak out about what's been going on in the background. We actually have very little facts regarding this case. Well,
we have very little facts, Candace Owens. We have very little facts. Are you gonna sit up here and say that? Like Candace, Candace Owens, this is a whole new you, girl. This is a whole new you. What happened to? Whoa. Okay. All right. Let's continue, because you needed very little facts. When that video of Steven Crowder came out, all right, there were people on Steven Crowder's side that said he wasn't guilty. All right, he wasn't guilty of abuse. You saw that video and said, no, Steven Crowder is guilty of abuse. You did that, all right, with one video. Even though people on the other side who support Steven Crowder and support some of y'all people over there, they said, nah, the video doesn't prove that he's an abuser. But when it comes to Andrew Tate, the numerous chat logs, WhatsApp messages, screenshots, even videos of him smacking girls, all of a sudden you're saying there's no proof. Wow. That's crazy.
They had almost less than a week left to charge the brothers, and they have finally done it. They are officially facing charges of human trafficking, rape, and more in Romania. This is coming 6 months after his arrest overseas. According to Romanian prosecutors, Tate, his brother Tristan, and 2 local women were all indicted on Tuesday. The Tate brothers in particular are also facing charges for allegedly setting up a criminal gang. The brothers' legal team sounded optimistic in the wake of the indictment, telling the local outlet that they'll embrace the opportunity to fight in court. And this has really been the attitude of Tristan Tate online, that all they wanted were charges because they wanted it to have public exposure so they could show how ridiculous the circumstances are. Here are just a few of Tristan Tate's tweets. He wrote, "In 9 days, the maximum period to legally hold me without charges expires. Charges, good. Until now, I've not been allowed to discuss what the quote-unquote evidence against me is. I've been muzzled under the instruction that I could quote-unquote disrupt the investigation."
What? Candace, you cannot obviously believe that. Come on. They've been muzzled? before they even got the charges filed. They were on podcasts. Your boy Andrew Tate did a video with the BBC and Vice Media. What the? You just sit there and say they've been silenced. They've been silenced. Wait, I didn't know Vice News tried to silence them. I didn't know BBC tried to silence them. I didn't know Patrick McDavid tried to silence them. All of these people all did interviews with both Tristan and Andrew Tate before charges were officially filed. And now Tristan Tate comes on Twitter talking about, I've been Muslim for so damn long, and now I can finally be free. What? No. You haven't been muzzled. You have not. Even while you were locked up in jail, y'all were still tweeting. Y'all still were tweeting, which I didn't know how that was even possible. Y'all were tweeting, though. So it seemed like the fact that Candace Owens believes this crap, it's insane. Antonio Wing, shout out to you. Says Sup Duke on Kim. He says on Kim Iverson YouTube channel. She said it's been confirmed that Coach RedPill will be serving 6 to 8 years in a Ukrainian federal prison. God damn. Yeah. Honestly, he should have left Ukraine with his wife and kids. The moment that war popped off, he should have left with his wife and kids, bruh. But that's Coach RedPill, and honestly, I pray for him. But hey, that's a person that that's somebody, okay, that gets silenced for free speech. It's Coach RedPill right there. All right, and he's in an Eastern country just like Romanian Andrew Tate. All right, but the difference between him getting persecuted by the Ukrainian government versus Andrew Tate is he actually got arrested for speaking his mind on the war in Ukraine. All right, so they actually sent people to his door and they got him. All right, Andrew Tate, you're getting investigated for trafficking. And it's funny how like people like Andrew Tate get more attention, even though they're outwardly lying, versus guys like Coach RedPill. So it's unfortunate, but honestly, in my opinion, he should have left when that war popped off. Like, I was like, what's the point? You don't need to be a martyr, but here he is. It's going to get crazy. It really is. John, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He says, she only lit Crowder because of his beef with Daly. Exactly. So it shows you that these people are disingenuous, especially Candace Owens, and they know exactly what they're doing when it comes to criticizing people. When it comes to criticizing Steven Crowder, Daily Wire, she'll use one video and then try to label him as some kind of abuser or manipulator, right? Even though that video, I mean, that was kind of factual. There was some crazy shit going on in that video, Steven Crowder. But when it comes to Andrew Tate, there are numerous self-snitching videos out there of him admitting to trafficking. Him admitting to what he did, his business model, even why he got kicked out of the UK. He admitted all that. So Candace Owens is smart enough to look at that and say, yeah, I can see why he's going to get found guilty, right? That's an unbiased opinion. But she looks at that and says, oh, no, there's no evidence. What that tells me is Candace Owens is doing this shit for clout. She wants an interview with She wants the interview with, Andrew Tate, because Patrick McDavid's interview did 7 million views in one day. 7 million views in one day. That's I don't know. Could somebody tell me how much money YouTube would pay out for that? That's like either in the realm of $50,000 to $100,000 right there, just off of video. 7 million people. You don't think Candace Owens is like, let me say nice things about Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, please interview me. I'm one of those media that's not gonna hold you accountable. Trust me. She's dog whistling to him. She's acting like we don't see it. But a lot of conservatives are going to sit there and say, oh, no, Candace Owens, she's, oh, my God, yeah. She's legit. I'll say that. She's legit. No, she's a hack. That's what she is.
Finally, I can talk. He went on to tweet, they've finished the investigation. Progress at last. These 15 months have been hell on everybody I care about. If I were the police, I'd have ended the investigation after a week. When the two girls were caught bragging about lying and discussing the future financial and fame benefits they would get by doing so. Nonetheless, this file will now finally be in the hands of a judge. He then did a poll.
That same judge, I don't know if it was the same judge, but there was a judge that said, yeah, no, keep them niggas on house arrest for another 30 days. Y'all not going now. Yeah, I don't, listen, whatever evidence you think there is or isn't, it's not looking good for you guys at the end of the day. Shade, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He says, Tate's Forex scam, formidable Forex powerhouse. He actually had a Forex scam? That's crazy, bro. Like, the more you look into this guy, the more you start to figure out, yeah, he's a piece of shit, bro. And we just got a whole generation of boys worshiping a known piece of shit. I can't wait for the evidence to come out, because all of y'all who've been hating and deriding for this long, y'all are gonna be exposed for the emotional little bussies you are. It is what it is. Be too cool. Shout out to you for the $20 super chat. He says the amount of D-writing for a dude that people don't even personally know is disgusting. Plus, Tate disses his own incel fans, calling them moron as he happily robbed them of their money and admits it. Shaking my head. I know. Like that little fool that came in here. You're biased. Now I'm unsubscribing. Bruh, he thinks you're an idiot, just like I think you're an idiot. Get the fuck out. There's no place for you. That's what I mean. All y'all. This is what they think about you. You're idiots. You're supporting people that abuse you. That's why I feel as though y'all either have daddy issues or mommy issues. Probably more mommy issues than daddy issues. But when you do find that father figure on YouTube, y'all just let him abuse y'all. I don't know what kind of self-respecting man. What kind of self-respecting man would just sit there and let themselves get abused by a content creator online? Like, what the fuck? Y'all is just so pathetic. It's not even funny. And yet you'll come around and talk about, oh, we're alpha males. We're the real guys. We're a high-value man. None of y'all even got the money he got. And the reason he got that money is because he robbed y'all. Y'all are stupid. The biggest clowns in the world. They don't respect their audience, and we don't either. That's why I have zero respect, and I'm almost starting to lose my cool with a lot of these like red pill fanboys out here. Like, honestly, I'm gonna just outright just start kicking you. Just 86, get out. Because I know for a fact if I was in the chat of your daddy, basically voicing my opinions, I'd get banned like that because them niggas don't like free speech. But sometimes I let y'all come in, y'all just say the dumbest shit, and it's just the most, and it almost derails the show. I have to just stop and correct y'all of your own ignorance. It's getting to the point where it's just like, no, y'all just need to go. Y'all need to go because once your daddy dies, I'm talking not literally dies. I'm talking about clout wise because he's gonna be in jail. It is what it is. All right, once all that shit dies off, it's over. It's over. So y'all go stay on the island with Fresh and Fit and all those snakes that have been leeching off his clout for this long. Like, it's getting crazy.
He wrote, if you forced 7 women to make TikTok videos to steal 50% of their money, how much do you think you could make? This is the case that has been built against me. Again, we don't have more evidence. Apparently, they obviously do know what they're being charged for, and they're alleging that it's a TikTok scheme and they're stealing people's proceeds from the videos. So yeah, they sound strangely optimistic. I am extremely excited to be able to dig into this case. I did feel very much like the media was trying to create the case, exactly what we're seeing here with Trump. It's like when they want to go after somebody, they will. He also...
What? Now she's jumping on that train. Now she's trying to slowly but surely draw that link to how conservatives should be worried about this, because we're also worried about the liberal media taking over, right? This is her trying to draw that link. Andrew Tate exposed himself. Candace, you're pretending like he didn't have that video out there, basically exposing the fact that he traffics women. That was the whole reason why he left the UK to Romania. You're forgetting that video exists? You can look it on right now on Google. You'll find that. It's not the mainstream media. It's Andrew Tate snitching on Andrew Tate. But the fact of the matter is, you look at Steven Crowder, one video that was sent to you about Steven Crowder, right? And I agree, he was a horrible person in that video. I still think he was abusive, right? You were the first one to jump at that video and call him abusive and even do the whole video on it. But there are numerous evidence on Andrew Tate online basically admitting that he does this stuff. And not even that. Let's say we move the evidence against trafficking aside. He still deals with women that wouldn't fall under the banner of what you guys would call traditional conservative women. He lives a lifestyle that you guys wouldn't call traditionally conservative. You know, the shit that you stand for. And you're over here giving him a pass? Candace Owens, your integrity is showing. Like, honestly, it really is. John, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He says, Tate interview equals Crowder hate equals morals and money. Facts. He says, he says Tate interview equals money. Crowder hate equals morals and money. Yeah, Candace is like, she's immoral. And that's the point. I've always thought of her as a moral woman. That's what she is, bro. Especially after that little bully hunters bullshit that she tried to do. Right? They got mad at me because I created a doxing website and they criticized before. So now I'm a right winger. It's like doxing isn't cool. Like, no one likes anyone who docks anybody. You creating a website to dox bullies, it's still a bad, immoral thing. So if anything, you're proving that the people who criticize you have some kind of fucking morality to know that even the bullshit you're doing is wrong. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're fucking bullies, all right? People still don't need to be doxxed like that, because when you dox someone, other people can get hurt aside from the bully himself. Like, it's crazy, and people just eat that shit up. Be Too Cool, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, it kind of makes you think, what the hell is the whole Republican Party about seeing how they're batting so hard for this dude? What the Republican Party is about is become what the people claim the far leftist has become, right? It's basically tribalism. It's, I gotta bat for my side, all right? Not only for the money it provides me, but I gotta bat for my side because it gives me a career. It gives me some kind of purpose. So you see some people in right-wing media that are doing this now, and it's starting to get cringe, because you guys can't keep saying you're for the party of truth and you're for the party of facts and evidence, and their clear biases showing all over the fucking place. And that's what it is. They don't actually understand that they're engaging in the same tribalistic behaviors they're accusing leftists of doing. They don't realize it. And neither of this is good for political discourse. You can't have good political conversations, all right, to actually solve things in society when people are all on the other side of the spectrum treating the political party as some kind of football team. It's gotten sad in America. I mean, and not even just America, in the West. We can't talk about shit, right? Everyone is, oh, no, it's my team. I got to protect my team. Oh, that's my. So that's what it is. And you see that same kind of atmosphere trickle down into the manosphere space, all right? Everyone is treating people who criticize these obvious, toxic, horrible red pill ideas. And you to, oh, there's all these crazy people. They're SJWs. They're cancel culture. Meanwhile, these are the same toxic behaviors that they're promoting that actually gets these guys in the same situation they're in right now. If you want to promote all this, what do you call it? They're promoting what? Women, guys going around sleeping around with multiple women. By definition, women, a lot of women out there can't be virgins if you're promoting guys to go ahead and make them not virgins. All right, you're going out there telling guys to be promiscuous and then telling them to marry virgins and then complaining why they're not enough virgins out there. You can't tell guys to be promiscuous and then tell them to go marry virgins, but because those very same women they're dealing with, oh my fucking God, bro. Like, even just breaking it down is just like, well, what the? It just breaks your mind, because you're like, wait a minute, why are y'all promoting that? Like, by telling guys to do this shit, you realize you're making less versions out there. Like, there are not going to be enough virgins to go around if that's what y'all really want. But that's not what they want. It's one big cope. It's a cope and a cover up to explain why a lot of the guys they're preaching to actually can't get laid or get women the way they used to. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, I don't know. Y'all just gotta be careful with a lot of these ideas you see online. Y'all just need to do your research, pay attention, because it's all bullshit most of the time, right? Kevon Slim, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, we're not gonna see any evidence because Tate's gonna beg for a plea deal and snitch out anybody he can to get. Or he says, or let me read that again. He says, and snitch out anybody he can to get. Facts. Yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be a plea deal on the table. Right, but the fact of the matter is, I actually want you guys, if anything, you want to see that evidence. You want to see the evidence, and you want to see how that's breaking down in court. Because what that's going to do is expose everything that these Tate Defense Force are trying to obfuscate. Right, it's going to expose exactly the direct links. It's going to expose all the stuff that they had, and they can sit there and call it fake all day long. But if they can actually prove it enough to get a conviction, there it is. It's right in their faces. Slap in the face. It proves them all wrong. They've been supporting the trafficker this entire time. That's what it is. They've uplifted the trafficker this entire time, trying to pretend he's some kind of saint, some kind of hero, some kind of god. It's gonna make them look really fucking bad and kind of disgusting, to be honest with you.
Also tweeted that they seized all of their belongings, so something like $300 million plus multiple properties. I mean, really bizarre in the middle of this investigation. Not sure why they did that. It does seem that the UK, and this is a guess that I'm putting out there, that the UK and the US is very much involved in this, and they wanted him gone. And in Romania, I think you can get a lot done with if you have a lot of money. I think that the UK and the US put pressure on them to get Andrew Tate on anything. Again, this is just me making a guess here. We will, of course, do our due diligence and dig into this case, but there is no question that they wanted these two brothers because they were having so much tremendous influence, especially in the UK. We will keep you posted. We are in communication.
They were having such tremendous influence, especially in the UK. Let me play this video one more time.
Andrew, why are you going to Romania? Can you tell? Well,
What's safe for YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. I was in England. I got tired of England. I had to decide to move somewhere, and I'd fought in Romania a few times. And I decided to go to. In fact, I'll tell you this whole story. All right, let me tell you the whole story. Let me tell out in public.
Let's
why
go
I left
down memory
England.
lane.
Let's go down. Let me give out all my world secrets because I'm on my biggest podcast yet, so I might as well tell all my secrets, right?
There you go.
So. This is a long story, right? So I had the webcam.
Well, Dave, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He says Candy would be a lot more prettier if she shut up. I think Candy would be great if she stops grifting, right? She just needs to stop the whole conservative grift because she knows she's not a conservative. Like deep down, Candace Owens is not a conservative, bro. But one thing I would give her props for is at least, unlike just pearly things, she settled down and had a kid. Even though she's still this career woman, right? She still settled down and had a kid. So at least she's trying to live that shit. But like, if you look at someone like just pearly things, bro, like but like they're all on the same bullshit. John says, isn't Shapiro and the Daily Wire anti-Tate though? Yeah, they are. That's why it makes Candace Owens' take on the whole Tate situation so fucking cringe and actually kind of clear. Right, because it shows that she's doing this for clout. She's got no integrity, like she's got none. It's all about clout for her.
Basically, I was sitting there after I retired from fighting, and I thought I need to get rich today. So I'm Googling up and I'm researching like what is money? How does the central bank? Because I thought if I want money, the first thing I need to do is understand what money is. Right. Most people don't know what money is. Facts. Right? How does money work? How does a bank work? Where does money come from? So I started like, just going down the rabbit hole. And the more I learned about money, the more mad I got because I realized it's trash and fiat ain't real and they just print it from the sky. So I'm like, not only is it garbage, I don't have any.
I'm sorry. I have to pause it right there. Because a lot of these conservatives, they do this to a lot. And I'm not saying conservatives, but I'm thinking a lot of people who believe in conspiracy theories, all right, like these crazy conspiracy theories, because some conspiracies are real, all right? It's just that you start mixing things together and drawing parallels that don't exist, then you run into a lot of trouble. But one thing they talk about is the money. They talk about fractional, they don't even break down fractional reserve lending, which is how a lot of financial institutions work, even from the Federal Reserve, all right? That's how they do their thing, all right? So, not even the Federal Reserve, but the Federal Reserve does something a little bit different. All right. So what they do is they take how money works, and just because what they're referring to is fractional reserve lending, how the money lends out, how the banks lends out money they don't actually have in reserve, right? And it actually creates goes to the point of creating inflation, right? So they're taking that and equating that to, oh yeah, is this one massive scam and scheme and this is what it is, right? There's a point there, but they're missing it, okay? What he's trying to what parallels he's trying to draw right now is by saying, oh yeah, this whole money conspiracy, it's just the way they try to control you, right? Fiat money doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, bro, it's still a medium of exchange. All right, that's what money was meant to be, a medium of exchange. So you, even if it's not real in the sense of banks are printing it out, it still has a real value. It's affecting us in the real world. It's leading to inflation, what the banks are doing. And also when people are transacting in cash, the same cash you're taking and you turn it into Bitcoin, it's still very real. The same cash you're using to go ahead and pretty much flex in front of a bunch of people that follow you, it's still very real. It represents the value that you're putting out there in the world, all right? In this case, a lot of simps and incels find you valuable enough to pay you. So it's a real thing. Listen, bro, like him just saying, oh, I study money, but money is real. No, it's real. That's why he's chasing it. That's why he's doing whatever he can to get a lot of you guys to buy into his courses. It's very real to him because he can buy real things.
Any garbage, what? So I was furious, right? So I'm watching this YouTube video and they're talking about assets, liabilities, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there trying to find a way to get rich. And I decided to write down all my assets on a piece of paper. I had like a Range Rover. I had an apartment under mortgage. I had like 10 grand in the bank. That's it. So I'm writing down my assets. I knew I was big and strong, but I was already fighting. And then when I was writing down assets, I realized with my fight career, because I was traveling the world, all I do is, because I always win, because I'm sexy, when you win, it's almost like a given, right? The ring girl's yours. When you win, you smash. Like, they ain't fucking a loser. But if you win, so I had all these girlfriends. I had girlfriends in France, Slovakia, Germany, all these hot chicks. And they thought I was the big millionaire world champion, right? They thought I was living in London with a Ferrari. And I'm still texting them and they thought I was living the big life.
Damn.
So I was like, well, I could open a strip club but that takes money.
Mhm.
You know, I need overheads, I need money. Da, da, da. How can I use these women to make me money? I don't want to put them on the track because they're my women. I don't want other people touching my chicks.
Mhm.
And by coincidence, I'm just Googling things up, and I discovered this webcam website. And I'd never heard of webcam before. This is a long time ago as well. It wasn't as big as it is now. Now everyone knows about OnlyFans, all this shit. Like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whenever this was,
Yeah.
it wasn't nearly as big. And I found this little webcam thing, and I was like, this might be some money. So I text all my girlfriends, I think it was 5 of them, text all 5, said, you're all coming here to live with me and work with me. None of them knew about each other. Bro, Tristan will tell you this story. He'll tell you. All 5 flew in, picked them all up. They're all sitting there. I sat them around the same table. bro, I need to get paid. Right? I'm broke now. I'm retired from fighting. I have no money. I'm running out of money. So I put them all around the same table, and I was like, look, we're going to start a webcam business. You're going to stay. You're going to live in London. I'm going to look after you, and we're going to get rich. We're going to be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch? I'm like, she's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. She's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're going to stay here, and we're going to make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. In the end, long story short, 3 left, 2 stayed. Those are my first 2 girls. And we started this little webcam business from my apartment. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations.
Damn.
And I was doing $600,000 a month from webcam. So
this is in the UK.
This is in the UK.
Right?
This is in the UK. So, but this leads into the story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think I'm the king of the world.
At the height of my webcam pimping, he even admits that. I'm going to play that one more time.
The story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think
Candace Owens. Candace Owens. Yo, Candace, you cannot sit there and say there's no evidence when this guy is literally referring to himself as an internet pimp. Not only that, when he was describing how he came to the idea of webcamming girls, he even mentioned not putting women on track. Do you know what that means in street lingo, Candace? Putting women on track is basically prostitution. It's putting them on the streets, right? He didn't want to do that because he wanted them girls to only love him and have sex with him. That's it. But they can pretend to love other guys online. He didn't want to put them on track. So the way he's even explaining his business so freely on Fresh and Fit, the way he's explaining it is basically explaining it as recruiting women to pimp them out. But instead of putting them on tracks, he's putting them online. But Candace, he's innocent, right? You want to sit there and lie to your audience and say he's innocent? Bruh, y'all, the cope is too much. The cope is too much.
I'm the king of the world, right? I have all these women, da-da-da. But the problem is, my first 2 girls who worked for me because they loved me. I love this man. Right. I am with this man. We're a team. He's going to take me from the ghetto streets to the hotel suites, right? So we're working together. Yeah. But then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money. So I had a whole bunch of girls working for me who weren't really about it. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up, started being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. Because it's like, it's about that. With women, you never hit a girl, right? Can't do that. But
don't hit a girl, but just take a shit and throw it out the window. Because that's how relationships are supposed to work. If you have a disagreement with your girl or in front of many of your girlfriends, just take the things that she loves and just toss it out the fucking window. That way the other girls, they learn how to, give some fucking respect, right?
Had the hard way last week.
Yeah. But if all the other girls see me be disrespected, they're going to lose respect for me.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
So when she's like, I ain't cleaning that up, you get that. So I was like, look, I don't care. And she was my biggest earning girl. She made me on her own maybe $25,000 a month.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to fire her. And she knew I didn't want to fire her, which is more reason why I had to fire her ass. So I was like, all right, cool. You want to be a gangster? Right, you're a gangster. Got her shit. We're like high up. We're like high up, like here. It was just out the window. So throws out the window. Got her by her 2 arms and marched her out the door, locked the door, end of it. She starts texting me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing, you threw up my blah, 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 blah. She went to the police.
Oh, shit.
And told the police I hit her when I didn't.
Whoa.
So it's 5 in the morning, and this is about 4 months later. 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. Girl here, chilling, living the life. And I heard the door, boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. The way they knocked that door, I was like, if you were going to rob me, you kick the door in, or this is just too obvious. And as soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. And I heard police, and I was like, man. I was like, but I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life. right? I've done some things when I had to pay the bills.
Right.
So I was a bit like, what's this going to be? So I like flush my phone down the toilet quickly. Boom. This shit, I'm coming. So I'm trying to hide shit. I'm looking around, like, what do I have to hide? Eventually the door comes off the hinges. Boom. Police bust in.
Yeah.
Fully armored, helmet. Boom. The guy at the back had a clipboard of me standing there after one of my fights with a world title belt, and they sent like the big man squad, like the crazy man.
Yeah.
All the officers were like 6'6".
Yeah.
The big boys came.
Damn. They sent all the niggas to get you.
Yeah,
all the British
they
niggas.
said the big boys. And I'm standing there like, okay. It's like, so I was like, who are you? And they're like, you're under arrest for a suspicion of assault of this dumb hoe. And I'm like,
wait, this is dumb hoe?
They didn't, but I'm going to protect her anonymity because I'm a nice guy. Dumb hoe. So I was like, I didn't touch that dumb hoe.
Yeah.
And the police were like, well, look, don't talk to us. We just have to bring you in, talk to the investigator. So I went to the investigator. They kept me in a cell for a day and a half. They sent officers to raid my house, took all my electronics, took all my phones, all my laptops, went through my entire personal life, found 11 new things to raise charges against me for. It's unrelated because the original case got dropped because she had no evidence and she was lying because all the other girls in the house went to on my behalf.
It's called probable cause. So even if you don't get charged with the original evidence, okay, all right, even though they dropped it because they didn't have actual evidence, the fact that you got into that scenario and they raided your house, all right, they broke in and arrested you, it gave them cause to search your shit, all right, and that's what they did. They probably had a warrant for it, and when they searched your shit, all right, which most likely it's a Western country. UK is a Western, so they probably had some kind of warrant for it, okay? And they found out, hey, there are 11 other things we could charge this guy with because it seems like this are pretty significant. That's just how that works, all right? It is what it is. So isn't that why you fled? All right, and Code still says just because he says pimp using pimp express lingo isn't a crime. No one is saying that's a crime. I never said, did I say specifically that's a crime? I'm just saying referring to yourself as a pimp, all right, while being under investigation for trafficking, that's not probably something you want to do, all right? And listen, just because you refer to yourself as a pimp, all right, or you refer to yourself as a killer or whatever it is, doesn't mean the authorities who are investigating you can't use what you say as evidence. All right. For instance, there are a bunch of rap videos where rappers refer to themselves as killers, pimps, and all these different things. And guess what? They end up finding those same videos being played in court for them to hear. Who's the one that's going through his shit right now? YNW Melly. All right. Just because you sing about killing people doesn't mean you're guilty of killing people. Right. But when they find you singing about killing people and then all of a sudden they can actually match that to something that you committed in the real world, then that becomes evidence. I never said that was a crime, Code Steel. All right, please. I never said him using pimp lingo is a crime. I'm saying him using pimp lingo while being under investigation for trafficking, that's using evidence. All right, it happens to rappers. It happens to anybody. Just say it.
She's lying.
Yeah, right.
So like, okay, but we've been through his life. He has a Lambo and a bunch of pussy, and he's enjoying himself, and that's not allowed in the Western world. Yeah. So we've been through his life, and we found 11 new reasons to raise crap against him. So I had 11 new charges, blah, 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 and I just woke up one day and said, I cannot live in this I will not live under a government that will do this to me when I've done nothing wrong. So I had to leave and go somewhere, and by coincidence, I had a fight coming up in Romania, so I went and fought in Romania, and I just thought, you know what? I'll hang around here for a few months. And then boom, 5 years later, I'm still there.
Boom. So now all these people who are saying Andrew Tate's innocent and there's no due process, Romanian government sucks and, all of this and that and this and that. We just played a video of him bragging about leaving the UK, a Western country, to go to Romania, an Eastern country, to basically continue on the same behaviors he did while he was being chased around in the UK. All right. And now he's mad that the same country he fled to is prosecuting him for the exact same thing he did in the UK. Y'all look crazy. This guy's a habitual offender, bro. It is what it is. He's gonna get charged, and there's really nothing much y'all gonna do about it. They have the evidence they need. All right, and y'all, even though it's not visible yet to y'all, it will be soon enough. All right, y'all, it's gonna be visible at some point. Y'all got to learn something, dude. But y'all, the way y'all are going about this, saying, "Oh, there's no evidence, this and that." Okay, fine. We'll play it your way. We'll wait for the judge, and we'll wait for all that stuff like that. But listen, don't get it twisted, my boy. going down. All this nonsense the Tate Defense Force are doing is honestly getting kind of crazy. And I never in my wildest dream would expect Candace Owens of all people to jump in and start defending Tate, even if she hasn't done an interview with them. She hasn't really done much with them. And even most people who are around her conservative sphere would say, yeah, that's not a kind of guy we want to be promoting, or saying he's innocent before the evidence come out. And one other thing I keep realizing is a lot of these guys are forgetting that Romania is a completely different country than most Western countries, okay? They have a completely different judicial system, judicial process, and things of the sort, okay? So I find it just easily amazing that you guys will sit there in Western countries and criticize your own governments, criticize how bad it is over here in the Matrix, whatnot, flee to an Eastern country, and now you're mad because the Matrix is after you there, even though you committed the same crimes that you did in these Western countries. Like, honestly, it's getting sad just watching this, and I hope y'all grow up and just smell the mustard that's coming. Moxie, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. It says, Tate stays self-snitching like a cornball preteen. Facts. He's just trying to look cool in front of his friends. That's it. Like, let's just be real. You're hearing a guy who just wants to be cool in front of his friends, and he's just sitting there bragging about shit he shouldn't be bragging about. And he's now mad because the very same platform that's saying he's innocent was the very same platform that basically exploded a lot of the criminal shit that he did it. Fuck my English, bro. A bunch of the criminal stuff he did to the rest of the world, which was fresh and fit. They exposed him to the rest of the world. He got the clout, and now everybody's paying attention. Here's the thing, bro. Listen, if Andrew Tate would have kept it low key and kept it in the red pill, right, and kept the bragging down to a minimum, right, just flash the cars, but don't brag about the girls and all that stuff, he likely wouldn't be charged with nothing. I'd be surprised if they can hem him up on anything. If Andrew Tate literally, let's say he just bragged about the Bugatti and some of the red pill shit he's talking about now. Listen, YouTube is still going to ban him because it is what it is. TikTok, all these other platforms are still going to ban you, but you're not going to be under persecution by the government if you just kept your mouth shut. But he didn't. He did a tell-all on all these other platforms, and now he's mad that the very same platform that gave him clout is the very same thing that actually is getting him in trouble, right? It's crazy. Listen, you would have been fine, but like once you now get in on Piers Morgan, you start getting on these bigger platforms, and the Karens get a hold of you, bro. Once the Karens get a hold of you, all of a sudden people are gonna start saying, "Hey, I don't want my kid listening to this Andrew Tate guy. Like, what's going on?" Right? Once you get them people looking at you, it's no different than some of these guys who are cops or whatnot, right? In some of these rural areas, they probably don't want their kid, who lives in a suburb, right? Probably are, just listening to these rappers, right? They're like, "Oh, I don't want my kid listening to that stuff," right? It's inevitable, right? When those parents get a hold of that stuff, they're like, "I don't want my kid talking this red pill trash. Like, what is this? Tate W? Like, well, no. Something has to be done." And then they get into those parent associations, and all of a sudden they start talking to people, and then Tate's no more. I mean, maybe. I don't know, bro. All I'm saying is it's easier to get canceled when you start saying dumb shit to mass mainstream media, all right? Red pill shit, you could get away with it. Mainstream media, you getting canceled. It is what it is. Great Bill, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. It says, good listening skills to leftist hearing. Facts. A lot of these guys have selective hearing. They don't even know. But yeah, like, hold up. Yo, chat, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but y'all know how I like my ones and twos. What do y'all think? Maybe we're tripping, all right? Maybe the Tate guys are right, all right? Put a 2 if they're right and there's no evidence and Tate's completely innocent, all right? Or put a 1 if you believe, yeah, this dude's going down, and the Tate Defense Force are utterly pathetic for just defending this bullshit, and it's pure for clout. It's purely for clout, all right? Let me know. 1s and 2s in the building, all right? And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.